Attention, please be advised. The following episode contains spoilers. Don't say we didn't warn you.
In comparison to Jason Momoa, but that's a lot to compete with on screen. If you were opposite Jason, probably
The Rock should have been Mara.
Probably, I was going to say.
Nerd On.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
Yeah,
above
you are.
Or below the sea.
No matter what.
Or if you're
7C.
part fish, or Julie Andrews.
Or if you should have happened before Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Wow.
well, not incorrect.
Oh.
Oh.
What are we talking about today, Caitlin?
We are talking about Aquaman today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am partial to because Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Bottomless Jason Mimosas. Thank you very
Bottomless.
much.
there is an audience of people
delicious.
who are saying like, if it's a Jason Momoa movie, their money's spent. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Money
Yeah.
well spent.
It could have been. You know, him
Magic
picking
Mike
his
4.
nose for 2 hours. Some shit. Yeah.
So has he graduated?
That would have been a
to-
great movie, first of all, Corey.
Yeah, I know.
Is he like the Rock status now at this point?
Well, we'll talk about that.
Pretty much.
We'll talk.
I would
about that.
say, I mean, when I look at Jason Momoa, I just think, man, poor ugly man.
I would let him do whatever he wants to me.
It must really be hard.
Out of pity, of course, because of how ugly he is. I would let
Yeah.
him do anything he wants to me. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
poor guy.
But
Oh,
before
What a rough life he must have.
Before we
Yeah.
get too deep into it,
Yeah.
My name is Tom on the interwebs.
The interwebs, yes. We
Oh,
are.
yeah.
This is something special. Caitlin is coming to us not only from across the world, but from the future.
Live.
I am currently live in Japan. I said Japan.
Japan.
Tokyo.
Man, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
I am in
Japan.
Tokyo visiting family.
Nice.
So I am connecting in from afar in
Yes.
the future, 17 hours ahead of
Telling us
them.
what awaits us in the world. My name is Corey.
Ollie.
And I am Josh. And this episode is brought to you in part by our patrons over at Patreon.
Patreon.
Woo! We are so happy to have you guys along for the ride. I mean, honestly, our patrons, you keep us going, and our listeners, really, the worldwide of listeners, worldwide. We're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
All countries.
over the
Nerd
Even in
on
Japan.
International.
Yeah.
Even in Japan.
Japan.
I knew that was coming
Thank
back.
you for supporting creators creating.
And before we really get into it, let's say spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We are hot off the press. Still got popcorn on our hands. Movie just came out. We
My
are
feet
ready.
are still sticky because I go walking barefoot.
Yes.
I'm still angry at the guy next to me who used his phone for 40% of the movie.
Oh no.
That was great.
Oh my goodness.
But we are talking about a movie.
we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can discuss and analyze with our anal eyes.
So what does that
Yes.
mean?
So that means we get to
Guess
that
Yes.
Grum.
In the
Dun, dun,
ocean,
dun, dun,
and there's
dun,
fish,
dun, 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 dun. Close enough.
and there's fish. Inside a whale.
This song is going on.
And
Okay,
then
sorry.
I
A long
hide
while.
inside a
All right.
whale's mouth.
So,
I
what,
can't even participate in
Parse
that.
that, everybody at home.
if you're new to the
Good luck,
show, welcome. Thank you for coming on to a titular episode. Hopefully this
To
title,
nerd on!
Yes. Hopefully this episode is clickbaity enough for you to want to watch it or listen to it.
Are we gonna
got Jason
title
Momoa,
it like
so-
Aquaman fail question?
It was going to be
Like, what's the clickbait?
The clickbait is Aquaman gets the Infinity Gauntlet. That's it. Done.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay.
just
Note that.
Jason
Josh.
Momoa?
Jason Momoa? Question mark?
So Guess
Yes.
That Grump is a segment of our show where if it's a subject matter that we can rate and discuss, such as a TV show or a book or a movie, we rate it 1 out of 5. And typically, if it's Jason Momoa, Caitlin will rate it a 5.
Yep.
But if
Usually, yes.
if the music doesn't swell in a certain way, then Ollie will rate it lower. Maybe at like
true,
a
that's true, that's true.
4.3 or 4.7. But
Accurate, though.
even though he's 0.3 away from a 5, a perfect score, Ollie will still be the grump for the week.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how low it is, just matters if it's the lowest, you are the grump.
Yes. And if you've been keeping up with this year, 2018, we've had a couple moments where there was all of us being grumps because we had all 5s all around.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
It's
we'll
true.
see what happens.
It's true.
Since I always tend to explain it, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that Ali will be the grump.
Look at that.
Okay.
Well, look at it. So Ali,
Interesting.
I'm gonna go. that audio picked that up.
Yeah.
I know it did because it came in my headphones.
Yeah.
Josh just kissed at me for anybody who wants to know.
I'll come in your headphones.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess Tom.
Tom's going, shaking his head.
Caitlin.
I'm gonna guess Corey.
Okay. All right. Joshua.
If you pick Caitlin or someone else, we'll just have a, Mexican
I
standoff.
am going to. God, see, here's the thing. He has become. See, at first Tom was a C on the Scantron.
Well,
And now Ali has become C on the Scantron. But the problem is I'm not just like, oh, it seems like a good guess. I actually do think that you're going to be the
I'm
grump.
gonna be the grump.
I will say
Yes.
like this:
Okay.
if it's usually comic book stuff, there is that bias of me being like, it's a comic book thing, and if it's DC, it's like,
I know.
it's a little bit more.
Might be Corey. So that leaves me. I'm gonna guess. I'll guess Tom.
2 on Tom, 2 on Ollie.
On me.
I didn't get a single vote. Look at that.
Well,
What do you know? So that's it. Everyone at home, write down your answers. Let us know if you got it right, who you thought was the grump, and we'll rate it at the end of the show. Stick around for that.
Cool. So that brings us to our brief synopsis.
Yes, it does.
or more of our initial reactions.
That's
The spoiler.
We can do that. Yeah.
The spoiler of Guess That
The
Grump.
spoiler for Guess That Grump. Pretty much every
Caitlin,
time.
why don't you lead us in with this?
Caitlin, you go first. You watched it first.
So
Yeah, you did actually.
I did watch it first.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So thanks to Amazon Prime, I got to see it like 5 days
Shout out to Amazon
beforehand.
Prime.
Hashtag
Thank
not
you,
sponsored
Amazon
yet.
Prime for that. Not sponsored yet. Hashtag.
Hashtag
in
affiliated.
reverse.
Willing.
Very.
Black Manta actually showed up to the screening as well.
Oh,
Like,
that's
the
fun.
actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
like the
that
actual
was
actor?
super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, the actual actor showed up and was like, "Enjoy the movie and bye."
Yaha Abdul Mateen the second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was
Black
just going to say
Mantine.
yes in the hopes that it was the right person, but yes. So I like the movie, first off, mainly because I was going to be content with whatever screen time Jason Momoa got, which was a lot.
Right.
And he had a lot of those delicious moments of come hither stares at the camera, directly into the camera, where it feels like he's staring past your soul.
But really, he's
So
looking
that was
into
delightful. Looking
Straight into your heart.
straight into my heart, down to my ovaries. Got it right away.
My word.
That whole theater went
Well-
underwater, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Yes, precisely. I know exactly what you mean. But I was not blown out of the water with the story.
Wow, damn it.
I'm sorry.
No, that's so good.
I mean, it was kind of exactly what I expected from it. I was worried that they were going to try and rein Jason Momoa's Jason Momoa-ness in a little bit, but I'm glad they didn't.
Not at all.
And I feel like that's what kind of made it as good as it is.
Yeah.
The acting, I wish could have had a little more oomph, but we'll get there in a minute.
Sweet.
Also, my theater kind of dampened my experience a little bit.
Oh,
Jesus.
The water puns are going to be bad today.
I know. I'm ready for it.
I'm wet
but-
for it.
No.
Oh,
That was forced.
Of course, Tom. Of course.
Ham-fisted.
A little bit.
Oh, how the tides have turned.
No,
There it is.
that one was good.
And we brought it back. Let's go. What were we going to say? Why did it
But yeah,
ruin it?
well, the audio quality in my theater was not very good. So sometimes when they were, because they introduced some characters a little later in the story than like they'll say their name and they're like complex, they're not names like Mark or Fred or Joan. They're
No.
complicated names. And so the sound was kind of muffled. So they'd be like, blah, 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 that one person that I care about from long ago in my childhood. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So you missed
Green
Mark
Goblin.
the Great Underwater King. Mark.
King Mark.
Yeah, King
yeah,
Mark.
King Mark.
Well,
I love King
It
Mark.
sounded like how normal
He
people
had
are
red
underwater.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
yeah, there's that.
it did change my experience a little bit, but the movie did wrap up any questions that I had later on, so it didn't.
Dope.
It wasn't ruined for me.
I mean, I'd like to dive in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Making a splash.
It's gonna be so bad the whole episode.
I know.
I'm still wet.
Great, good to hear.
I'm gonna surprise everybody in a sense and say it was okay.
Mhm.
Fuck, I should
Pardon?
have picked you.
I liked it. It was
You liked the movie?
I liked the
You
movie.
like the movie?
But I say that with I liked the movie. It wasn't. I think Caitlin said it really well. It didn't blow me away or anything like that. It was a popcorn flick.
Out
I
of
think
the water.
it didn't blow me out of the water.
There it is.
I liked it. It was okay. There were several points where I was like, and maybe we'll get into this, but I was like, Aquaman, more like Aqua Bro. I mean, Jason Momoa, I've seen interviews with him. He seems like he's a cool guy. He just seems really, really legit, like an awesome guy. But there is a part of me that, now this could be because I am of the uncultured swine and I know nothing about Aquaman, but
Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa?
it's Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa, man. And I'm like, okay, it's their run, as Ollie has said for other comic book movies. It's their run, and that's fine. But I kind of walked in. I was quiet for a little while before Bonnie and I kind of dived in to start talking about it. That was accidental, actually. Dove in.
Sure.
So I was quiet because it's not that like I hated it. I just was like, all right, there were some really fucking cool points.
Yeah,
but it was okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Ollie?
Yeah.
Ollie Aqua Free?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Corey, no.
Oh, yes.
Tom is crying and fetal in the corner.
I don't have my aqua puns.
Okay,
queued
it's
up
all right.
here,
I'll get
but-
you some.
They'll come to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Fish a little more.
Yeah. So I went in.
It comes in waves.
Oh God.
I just want to hold your hand, Corey. That was
Yeah, you can hold my hand.
So I'm very very hard on the DECU. What is it?
DCEU.
DCEU. Whatever they want to call it.
DC Extended Universe.
Well, if you
Yeah.
get it right, then you know what to call it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
wow.
Well, let's just
Wow.
say it's not
Assassin
impressive enough
pretty
for me to
quick.
remember that title.
Mm.
Okay.
It's better than Sony's movies of Marvel characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that
The
is.
DCEU, very, very hard on it. I do really like a couple of the movies a lot. I thought Aquaman was one of the weakest points of Justice League.
His character.
His character. This movie, I went in not even like I didn't care about it until I watched one of the last trailers, and it really turned it around for me because it got me excited that we would maybe have some world building and lore building and like explore different facets of it. Ultimately, I really actually enjoyed my time in the theater. I went in as optimistic as I could, and I was not disappointed for the most part. There's some things that I would have loved to be different without kind of getting into that discussion right now. But overall, I actually had a really enjoyable time in the theater, and I would watch it again. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
Cool. Me being the DC guy,
Yeah.
I typically like DC as a property, as their characters, a lot more than Marvel characters. Because I grew up with them more, and then plus I just I always like I'm rooting for them because like they're like underdog,
Yeah.
and people just want to forget DCEU when there's 2 more letters versus MCU when there's 1 letter.
Right.
Because 2 letters is apparently hard to remember, Ollie. But
I just didn't know the order.
I mean, DC is the comic book company,
That's true.
so okay.
Extended Universe.
He got really upset about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I really offended him.
Well, I mean, it's like a flagrant like whatever. But no, I
But
mean,
don't you ever fuck up Sony's cinematic universe of Marvel characters?
Yeah.
well, they're putting in 2
Isn't all
companies.
one
in
film?
there.
I know.
They're putting 2 companies. That's a little much.
I remember it because it's so ridiculous.
It's like microscopic silicosis.
Yeah.
Um,
What you said.
No. Too much.
Anyways, so I in a way kind of like jumping on both Josh's and Ollie's points. I knew this was going to be kind of like a different take on
Yeah.
Aquaman. Like I know Aquaman as Savage Aquaman, long hair, badass
With
dude,
the hook,
fucking
right?
hook hand,
Yeah.
like gangster as fuck. Versus like pretty boy Aquaman who rides on a seahorse with Aqualad, and they had that moment in here which
Or the sea
fucking
turtles.
made it look badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew Jason Momoa is not anything I'd ever have read.
Yeah.
Nothing like I've ever read. He in your way where it's like Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa, like he made a lot of jokes of like when he was like rumored to be Aquaman. He's like, it makes more sense for him to be Lobo for all you DC fans out there. Like he's an intergalactic bounty hunter who pretty much is as strong as Superman.
Wow.
And like he rides a motorcycle throughout space. He's got white. Like, he literally looks like the Crow,
Yeah.
but like a
Oh, wow.
biker version.
Wasn't there like a
Oh.
rumor that he
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
going to play the
No,
Crow?
he was slotted to be the Crow, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
like the director fell through, the script fell through, so he
The
just
studio fell through.
But I walked in thinking like I want to see great visuals.
Yeah.
James Wan, he's an Australian but Chinese Malaysian actor, director, and I've just like, to me this is my Crazy Rich Asians. Like this is like everyone's like wanting representation and shit like that. Like Ryan Coogler is making waves for like the black community and African American like culture. Like to me, I'm like Asian dude making like superhero films. You know, you have Ang Lee, you know, you have like some good classic filmmakers, but like this is like a great like James Wan, Justin Lin.
Yeah, and another example of a director given the reins after mainly having a background in horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi, forget his name, but Pony Smasher, who's going to be doing Shazam.
And you see some of that in this.
Yeah.
No, which I fucking love.
Yeah.
And so to wrap it all up, my initial reaction, there's a lot of things in this I love. And if you were my friend on Facebook, then you know I said they made everything that could have looked really stupid amazing.
Yeah.
But some of the things that you think that would have looked normal or okay, they kind of like dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
I was overall most impressed with the James Wan's hold on the strong visual narrative he wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And I loved that direction. I don't think it would have worked for every DC film and all that stuff. And I don't know if he should helm any other projects, but I love the fact that he did that for this film.
Yeah.
Corey?
For me, this was a surprise and delight. I
messed up.
probably been the most critical, I think, of DC.
Well,
on
you
this show.
remember them at least.
Yeah, I do remember DCEU. But it does stem from a place, like Tom said, of loving these characters and wanting them to be treated well. And so I think, you know, we've had some successes with the DCEU, but it's been finding its footing. And I think Wonder Woman in this, I think Tom said earlier to me in a conversation earlier, while they stood on the shoulders of BVS, I think they're the right step for the franchise, for Warner Brother to handle these. I think it's the right tone. I think it's the right direction, and it's their own voice, right?
I was telling this to my brother in the car on the way.
Shout out to your brother.
Yeah, shout out to Sean.
Yeah.
On our way back from the movie, that this is like on par with like Wonder Woman in all the right ways. I feel.
Yeah.
To where like they're starting to build like a tone, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's
and,
good
like,
world
a
building. It's
feel
good.
for the characters and it's
On their
something
own.
that you can on their own, and it's something that you can become, I think, comfortable with over time.
And it's the qualm that I had and a lot of people had with rushing into Justice League before you got to know the characters.
Yeah.
Because now I
Yeah.
care about Aquaman now.
Right.
So with that, like it does have its shortcomings, and I'll get into that later on. But in the overall grand scheme of things, if they can continue this tone and focus it a little more, I think the franchise is going to do great. Because I want to see more Aquaman, I want to see more Wonder Woman, I want to see more DC characters treated with the amount of care that went into this.
I want to see more my man.
Yeah.
Oh,
For me, I like
Jason
Momoa.
Momoa.
Jason Momoa as Aquaman. A lot of people don't remember that Tony Stark was nothing like he is in the movies.
No.
He was
Like-
an asshole. He was an alcoholic.
Well, also he was a joke.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man wasn't even they called him Buckethead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was an
Oh.
alcoholic buckethead, and no one cared about him. Then
No
all
one
of a
liked
sudden,
him.
John Favreau just waved his hand, made some magic, and then all of a sudden,
So
they're like, Civil War.
I'm used to characters changing when they get over to the drastically when they get over to the movie universe, because there are things you can do in a comic that you can't do in a movie and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Fair.
understand if they would have played him like Captain America, it would have been laughable.
It would have.
Yeah.
So you have to make him this kind of overly manly but almost childlike joy, jubilance that Jason Momoa walks that fine line of. Like nothing really
Very well.
upsets him, but
yeah.
when he does get upset, it's game over.
Scary.
So for me, this hit a lot of the right
Sexy
notes, and I'll
scary.
get into my qualms later on. But I'm really hoping this starts a domino effect with the DCEU.
Yeah.
I do want to jump on that for a quick second, just because
Yeah.
of like, you know, there's a lot of like conversation of like how Superman should be black now, mainly because of like Superman's story in the mythos of America is always like the immigrant, the outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
And I love the fact of like Jason Momoa of like being played, it's like, oh, he's Hawaiian, Polynesian, brown dude versus like playing a blonde haired Arthur Curry looking dude.
Yeah.
And like Jason Momoa said, like, I think I'm the perfect person to play it, mainly because I have always lived my life feeling like I'm lived between two worlds.
Mhm.
Like I was
Wow.
born in Hawaii, but I was raised in the
Iowa.
Midwest. Iowa. And like I love that
Wow.
fact that like he has that personal bond with that character.
Yeah.
And that's the story that they took with this character. And I think that's a good, like, Batman's always going to be a war on crime and to find and utterly be defeated by the fact that like there's hope or little to no hope.
Yeah.
But like this character of like trying to balance two worlds.
I mean, and one thing that because I've been thinking about it, because Bonnie being, I don't want to say uncultured, but more of an unknowing of like
I always say uninitiated.
uninitiated. Yeah. I mean, she,
Of the uninitiated, as Tom says.
when I'm thinking about like the DCEU, I almost feel bad for it in a sense that it came not literally, but on the shoulders of the MCU in terms of it was already established in a sense. It had already started building a
With the
fan.
Nolan.
Yeah, it had already started building a fan base, and I'm talking about the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're starting this DCEU, and unfortunately, for those uncultured and uninitiated, it's like, okay, it's just there's a lot of
Talking about people who can't tell the difference between like Marvel and DC, and they're
Well,
like, "Oh, it's
no.
superhero."
I think
What
it's
I'm
the
meaning is
perspective.
it's the perspective is like, okay, so Bonnie's question was like, why is everybody shitting on the DCEU? Like, she's like, individually the movies are okay. Me, I'm uncultured, I'm uninitiated, I get that, and I like all of the movies. Individually, I like them. And so I'm more so at opening a conversation because DCEU is becoming one of those things that it's like, okay, this is something to
It's
talk
very
about.
polarizing.
Yeah.
It's very polarizing. There's a lot of negative stuff online about it. So
let's talk about it a little bit before we get to brief history and synopsis and all that stuff. But it's like I think of it like this, where we had movies, X-Men, Spider-Man, Blade, Hulk, Dark Knight, Batman, Superman. These were all standalone films. They didn't build a universe,
Yeah.
right? And Marvel took a huge gamble of doing what they were doing, and Marvel's going to go bankrupt and shit like that. But like the fact of the matter is the fact that like Marvel has found success in it, and people's perspective of like this is a monopoly, or it's not their perspective. It is a monopoly. It's a monopoly of the fact that like this is the only shared universe. This is the first shared universe, and it worked. And it's giving everyone the perspective like this is the only way to do it.
yeah.
And so it's telling everyone the standard of like if you're not this way, you're not good.
Yeah.
Where as Nerd On, it's our ethos of being like where all levels are welcome, right?
Yeah.
And regardless of what horror film does it scare you that much, or does it play on your mental instabilities? Like those live in different planes, but are still crowning achievements in their own right.
Well, it's
Yeah.
always it's the same reason we have sequels and reboots all the time. It's the executives playing it safe, and when they see something like that across the street, being across the street being the MCU, seeing something so successful and working so seemingly effortlessly on their part,
Studio gets involved. and
Yeah.
says do that.
Then
instead
they're
of
like,
telling the
well,
story
let's
you
just
wanna
do
tell.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of crazy because sometimes I've kind of gotten into the habit of staying away from social media in a sense, in terms of
Sure.
like Facebook specifically. But it's funny because I saw somebody's post that was like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, what the fuck? First, people are mad because it's not serious enough, and now they're mad
Corey.
because it's. Oh, was it you?
That was my post.
Okay.
I said DC fans.
What's so funny is
Is-
maybe you weren't the only one, because if it was you, I would have remembered. Like, oh, that was Corey.
No,
but
Corey's
I
pretty
think
forgettable.
somebody else.
Thanks.
So it's out there. That thought is like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Oh, so wait, hold on. Come finish the thought.
So it's just my whole thought was the
In jest.
DC fans quote, "These movies are too dark. I don't like the tone." And DC goes, "All right, well, here's Aquaman. He's a fun-loving character played by a super charismatic Jason Momoa. It's too light. It's not dark enough." Like, what do you want? What do you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
want? What do you want?
What
All.
do you
There
want?
is-
They want
And
everything.
that's literally the thing is like the audience doesn't know what they want because they don't know. They can't be told what is good.
Yeah.
It's
Rotten
the
Tomatoes tells them what's good. And then the executives are like, oh shit, we have to follow whatever the fuck Rotten Tomatoes is going to say is good.
It's
Yeah.
the echo chamber of social media. So it's the people that you're talking about. I feel are those who are just kind of like trying to latch on to that notion. But I think there is another layer to where there is some issues, like some actual
Oh, absolutely.
like, issues
Well,
yeah.
with these
absolutely.
movies that are stopping them from being
I've been
as
outspoken
good
about that.
or for being like the
But you
reason they're
have
shit on,
movies
whatever.
like Wonder Woman, which are on caliber with any Marvel film I've seen.
Yeah, I think like Wonder Woman is probably the most like untarnished, quote unquote, of all of them. It feels like it had the least like studio involvement or at least nothing obvious that I could point to, like I can point to
Or
with
the
other movies.
studio who did get involved made the right choices for once.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like including this movie and a lot of the other DC movies, you can point to very specific things where they're like, that was obviously something that they did to try to XYZ, you know.
Joss Whedon.
What'd you say?
Joss
Well,
Whedon.
Joss Whedon. Well, yeah,
Whedonisms.
yeah. You can point out his scenes that he did.
For example, and Tom can attest to this, I fucking love Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition, Ultimate Cut.
Yeah.
And I have since watched the regular cut, and I fucking hate
It's
it.
terrible. Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
It's
Doesn't.
Because the studio is just like, leave the jokes, leave the light stuff, take out plot, take out plot, take out plot.
Yeah.
well,
Interesting.
and I think what happens too is also the context,
needs to be
what
shorter.
the subject is.
It doesn't.
These are animated characters. These are comic book characters, right? BVS plays a lot like a comic book. Like a comic book.
Yeah.
Like we just did Spider-Verse episode.
It feels like a Miller comic, honestly.
I mean, yeah, we just did Spider-Verse, and there's some things even in animated films get away with that live action films can't get away with.
Right.
It's pacing, because with animated and turning pages, you don't have to take a breath to like let the character sink that moment in.
Yeah.
When it does, it feels 10 times bigger. Like when an entire page is black and it says snicked, it
Yeah.
means a huge bigger thing than like just a close up of a hand with claws
Yeah.
coming out. Like with a film, there are certain languages that you have to kind of not overcome but
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot of time.
So, all that being said, kind of a bigger conversation.
Yeah.
Going back to Aquaman, Corey, you think that it's actually a good positive step
I
towards the
think it's
right
a great
direction?
step in the
100%.
right. Tonally, yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is. I think I wanted them to do it when Wonder Woman came out. I was like, they need to do more of whatever they did here. It's
Yeah.
it's their own voice. It's not
Yeah.
copying anyone.
Yeah.
It feels
Right.
very original, and I love that. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a Marvel film,
No.
and I don't want it to feel like a Marvel
Yeah, of
film.
course.
Well,
I want these to feel like
Well,
like
I-
when I read a DC comic and I read a Marvel comic, it's very different experiences, and I want that in my movies as well.
Kayla?
I feel like they kind of walk a line between like serious and silly with theirs. Like that's what it's heading for, which makes it great.
Which works.
I like that, and I mean, there's something just to me like cinematography wise that this has that not all the other like Marvel films have.
Yeah, and
it's,
color.
It's
Yeah.
Oh.
it's ridiculous. It's like it's starkly so different. And the thing is like, I hate it. And it's like it's the joke. It's the joke of like pineapple and pizza, where it's like the sweetness of pineapple on pizza goes with the saltiness of the cheese.
Yeah.
and it's like, but you're dead
Except
ass.
it doesn't.
But
I'm
your
just
fucking
kidding.
taste buds are so fucking dead, they don't know
Yeah.
the difference.
Yeah.
So it's like those kind of things where it's like you've been fed something for 18 movies for 10 years that if anything's different, you don't know what's
Yeah.
good or not.
And
Yeah.
like to Ali's point, like there have been some hiccups in those films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's
I
without
think-
fault.
Yeah. I think they did Wonder Woman, then Justice League. What they changed in Justice League was a full step back.
Yeah.
I've since seen some of the scenes and read some of the scenes that were planned.
Release the Snyder cut.
That Zack Snyder had planned.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a good film still. But I think even with it had Snyder done Justice League, I still think this is a step in the right direction. So
Nice.
I think, yeah, I mean, for me, it comes down to like a movie either you should just stick with like what's established, whether that, that's on the filmmaking level and on the source material level, or if you're going to change anything or go drastic with anything, you better impress the hell out of me.
yeah.
It better be like amazing to where I forget the source material, i.e. Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll argue. I think there's some people who are initiated who
Yeah.
know the source material, but there's some people who think they know the source material.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
that happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I've had arguments where people are like, "Oh, Wonder Woman could never like hit her bracelets together and make sonic waves." Then like, here's the panel where she deafens Superman.
Yeah.
How much more else do you need? Like,
Actually,
like I hate being like that. Like I hate feeling elitist. I hate that shit. I
Yeah.
hate like, but don't make a call.
But if you're
that
going
you
to be
can't-
elitist, you
well, don't
better
make a
know what
call
you're
you
talking
can't
about.
you
Yeah.
can't come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't say like, no, that never happened. It's like, well, just say like it can't happen.
actually,
It's in the world. Also, people are fucking flying. Anyways, brief synopsis and history. Which one should go first?
Brief synopsis.
yeah.
Synapsis.
Yeah, for sure.
Synopsis. So we have a bit of a flashback, a story of Jason Momoa.
Little exposition.
Yeah, narrating the love between his father, the Lightkeeper, and Queen Atlanta.
Tom.
Tom. Tom
Lightkeeper,
is the
Tom.
Lightkeeper, and Nicole Kidman's character, and how they fall in love. He finds her like on the rocks and all that, gets her back to health.
Two ships in the sea.
It's a
Fish out of
rocky
water
start.
story. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's make this brief. Fish out of water story. Gets her back to health, have a child. The moment the child's like born and they start having a family and all that stuff, gets attacked. She has to leave to go back to Atlantis.
To protect them.
And to protect them. And then later on, he grows up. And
Action ensues.
after the events of Justice League, he's stopping a pirating of the piracy or pirating of a submarine by what would be later to become Black Manta.
And his Faja.
He defeats everyone, has a moment to save Black Manta's dad, but doesn't do it, which he'll later on pay for. And later on, he's out with his dad, hanging out, and Mara comes. Mara arrives saying, like, hey, there's this war happening. King Orm, who is Jason Momoa's younger brother, I'm just saying their names. Patrick Wilson portrays King Orm, who's
A
assembling...
man that never ages. I just want to say
Oh,
that.
Patrick Wilson?
Yeah.
Is assembling 7 nations, 7 kingdoms of Atlantis so that he could become the ocean master and then diplomatically wage war upon the surface dwellers.
Yeah.
Gotta get 'em
And
all.
the surface world is knowing of Atlantis's presence and as well as Aquaman. Later on, Jason Momoa says no, and then says no to the journey. Obviously, that has to happen, and then says yes when his dad's in danger. They go down to Atlantis. They get stuck where now Jason Momoa has to fight his younger brother. He loses this ring of fire battle, escapes with Mara. And Jason Momoa go to the Sahara Desert because Volko, played by Willem Dafoe, charges them with this mission to
Finding Atlan's trident.
Atlan's trident. Not a quindent like his mother's, but
Arthur is going to
trident.
go pull a weapon out of his stone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to Sahara and they find the map or more steps away where they're going to go. Romance ensues.
Yeah.
Romance ensues.
They find themselves
Various things
Let's just
ensue.
pick the most romantic place that exists on planet Earth.
Italy.
Italy.
And there you go.
Italia. So they go to Italy.
A villa in Sicily.
Black Manta, who is shipwrecked from the submarine wreckage, gets
Attacks.
prototype weapon from King Orm to kill Jason Momoa and Amber Heard.
Attacks ensue.
Attacks ensue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
They're like, what?
and
And
then-
then you? And he's like, yep, it's me.
they escape going onto a ship and they go through the trench, which is like a prison and also quote unquote death, where they find Lovecraftian monsters. They get saved by Queen Ellen, who is actually alive. Nicole Kidman's alive. And she's like,
Da-da-da-da.
hey,
Well,
look.
up to this point, we had thought that she was
Dead.
Dead.
Sacrificed to the
Super dead.
trench.
And so she's like, hey, the trident's across this waterfall, this mystical waterfall. Once you spawn there, you'll have your fucking trial. And then he goes to
You
trial.
Spawn.
Yeah, literally that's how it felt.
Once
Like
you
it's like,
load
here's
in.
this fucking
Yeah.
legendary mission. All of a sudden, Kraken's like, no, you can't do it.
Played by Julie Andrews,
Yes.
by the way.
Yeah.
What?
Which
I'm
That's
sorry.
who that
What?
was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the Kraken or Krathen or whatever they called it.
Mary
It's the
Poppins
Kraken.
Returns didn't want her, so
Yeah.
they were like,
Yeah.
okay, here you go.
Julie
Yeah.
fucking Andrews.
Wow.
So she comes out with the umbrella and was like, hey, you gotta fucking prove yourself. And then all of a
Julie
sudden,
Andrews.
the fact
alive with the sound of music.
the fact that he can speak to underwater life, understands this eldritch horror, and she's like, "Oh my god, you understand me? Well, fucking try
Good
to grab
luck."
grab the trident." And he grabs the trident, badass orange suit, and then
She's like, okay.
He interrupts the battle.
Orm is like about to take over the Brine people. A mine, and
Oh yeah, because the chief of that is Gimli.
Yeah.
He's the,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
and
Little baby.
fucking
He's like,
just
this ocean is mine.
I am of the brine.
I am of the brine. We're the brine. That's it. That's
it.
the one.
wow.
Who are
I
you?
swear
We're
to
the
God, if
brine.
he said that
The
fucking like that
brine.
would have made this movie like a 10 out
Oh
of
my
5.
god.
The brine. I can't stop now.
Jason Momoa makes the fucking best ultimate entrance I've ever seen in a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah.
The true
Next
Poppins returns.
to Thor and Captain America and fucking Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Anyways, he fucking comes out, battles and does all this shit. They end up King Orm and Aquaman have a final fight.
In
He
his
wins
element,
in his element on
land
Land.
an island
Ish.
ship thing.
on a ship.
And
Above
he
the water.
shows mercy. Nicole Kidman reveals herself that she's still alive. They take Orm prisoner. Post-credit scene, Black Manta's alive.
Mhm.
Yeah, barely.
That's it.
And scene.
Good job, dude.
Nice.
Da-da-da-da.
So yeah, I mean, it's a really simple story, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But brief history and synopsis. I mean, Arthur Curry came in during a time of superheroes where they were just throwing things at the wall of like, hey, these all these.
Maybe this will work.
And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people like take these so seriously. Like I take the source material very seriously, but also know like people were just trying to sell comics. People were just trying to sell dudes in spandex. And so I'm like, you can't be like, oh, this has to be fucking Citizen Kane. It's like, dude, this dude fucking threw starfish at people. Like, come on, like, relax.
Starfish.
He's a hero.
And he fucking talks to fish, but like, whatever. I mean, and so a little bit of brief history. Like, this pretty much does a really good job of an origin story.
Oh, good.
Like, you know, living a half life. Arthur Curry, raised on land, has to later on take his kingdom back. King Orm or Orm Ocean Master. The Ocean Master, like becoming the Ocean Master, he just calls himself that. Doesn't really have a thing like that.
Yeah.
But cool thing I really liked is that they put a lot of sprinkles in, and I don't know if this is a spoiler for you in the room and you in Japan, but Volko has betrayed the kingdom multiple times.
Oh.
What?
And I was expecting, because there's been stories where like this is pretty much like Game of Thrones underwater. He's a king, he's not the king. He's a king, he's not a king. And Volko a lot of times has done very like duplicitous, dastardly things to make sure that King Arthur gets his throne back. Like kill hundreds of people. Imagine like Samuel Jackson from Unbreakable. Like he's killed people. He's concocted these weird conspiracies so that King Arthur will have to learn his like rightful place as the throne.
Yeah.
And it's like,
wow.
The ends do justify the means, maybe. I don't know.
Is he like Aquaman's Alfred?
Alfred-ish, but also more like, I don't know if I could trust you. Because right now in current comic books, like, Aquaman is, again, not fucking king. And now Queen Mera. It's like she's the queen of Atlantis. And it's really, really cool. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Like, in Queen Mera, she has, you know, magic use. And then she is an adept user of the school, the silent school, where, like, Garth, Aqualad, and everyone else starts, like, learning their magic powers. It's really well done.
Yeah.
So.
What? Wait, I'm gonna have to learn about this after this.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please tell me more.
Everyone, read your comic books.
Can you tell us some of the details of the movie here, Tom?
Yes. So distributed by Warner Brothers, obviously. Director James Wan. I watched his movies. I love his movies. Saw one and then produced all the other 6 movies.
When I see something like this, I'm always like, I'm more of a, I want the success for everybody. So when I see something like this and you look at his kind of background, you're like, good for you.
No, yeah,
this is awesome.
And then he jumped onto Furious 7 after
Well,
Justin
he's got like
Lin left.
Insidious and
He done Insidious, Conjuring. He did Death Sentence, which Kevin Bacon. I fucking love that movie.
which is why Patrick Wilson's in it.
Yes.
He's
Producer
Besties.
Peter Safran, who did Disney's Rocket Man. I fucking love that movie.
I love
Oh my God.
He did most of
Rocket
James Wan's horror franchise films. He's slated to produce Shazam. Rob Cohen, who produced The Lovely.
so good.
There you go, Corey.
So good. Kevin Kline.
Sounds delightful.
It is. It's
good.
delicious. It's
amazing.
lovely.
It's
Wow.
delightful. And The Crazies, San Andreas, as well as other James Wan's film, where this is kind of the same thing we're feeling with Ryan Coogler with Black Panther.
He just
where
has his guys.
He has his guys.
His crew.
Screenplay by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, who did Walking Dead Season 2, which I think is one of the better ones. But I haven't seen anything past Season 5. He did Season 7 and Season 8.
Okay.
Conjuring 2, Orphan, Wrath of the Titans, started as Frank Darabont's PA on
that's
Shawshank
awesome.
Redemption. And Frank Darabont, Walking Dead.
Yep.
So I
Yes.
was like, that's how they all got connected. Will Beal, who was a former LAPD detective, wrote Gangster Squad into the teleplay for Castle.
That's
Later
very
on.
cool.
This
So
is like
he-
his
Wow.
second feature film.
Wow.
And so
Whoa.
like I'm a big fan of people who have law enforcement backgrounds, so you go into writing. It's fucking great.
Story.
Story by Jeff Johns, who, you know, made big splashes and waves in DC, pretty much made Green Lantern. Jesus Christ. Pretty much made Green Lantern who he is in the Green Lantern lore. Produced Ryan Reynolds' movie with Green Lantern, but now pretty much stays close with the head of DC Films, who is Walter Hamada. Actually, after the fallout of Justice League, he's now the new head of DC Films. James Wan and Will Beal did the story as well, starring Jason Momoa.
Yes.
Jason Bottomless
Mimosa.
Mimosas.
You all know him.
Topless
Jason,
mimosas,
oh my
really,
God,
actually.
look at those abs.
I think it was
Looks
not
like a
bottomless,
drink
it was
I'd like a
topless.
sip of.
His back, though, is huge.
Yeah.
You all know him from Khal Drogo, Game of Thrones, The Frontier on Netflix, and 2011's reboot of Conan.
You might also know him from Justice League.
Or also Justice League. I mean, I'm trying to learn things that he's not in.
I know.
Amber Heard, who I've been watching for a long, long time.
Base for Days.
That sounds creepy
she's a
as
base for
hell.
days. I mean, she's in a lot of fucking movies, and she has
Amber
like
Heard.
small roles. Like All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, Alpha Dog, Never Back Down, Pineapple Express. Got the Spotlight Award for Rum Diaries. She's 406 in Zombieland.
Yep.
Patrick Wilson, Watchmen, who plays King Orm. Conjuring, Insidious series, Fargo. Willem Dafoe's Boondock Saints.
Spider-Man.
Godspeed Spider-Man. And
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
guy who puts leeches on himself in Speed 2. Florida Project most recently.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, Batman Forever.
He's in Platoon, right?
He's in Platoon. He's the one that
Where he
gets
gets
shot up.
shot and his like hands right. Yeah. Yeah.
But he plays Tracks on My Face. Tears Tracks on My Face. Nicole Kidman, Batman Forever. Moulin Rouge. It's funny when I wrote this, I wrote Moulin Rogue.
I
The
love that
Circus?
you started with Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
Nicole Kidman's wide breadth of incredible work.
That's
you
my
like The Circus?
introduction. That's my introduction to her. Okay.
Wow.
That's,
Wow.
Bewitched, Paddington, Big Little Lies. It's her TV show that's really doing really well right now. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Get Down on Netflix. The Greatest
It's a
Showman.
fun show, by the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out.
Also with fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's also going to be in Jordan Peele's new movie, Us.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he was in Greatest Showman, your movie.
Yeah, it's my movie.
There you go.
I love that movie.
Dolph Lundgren, aka Drago. I Must Break
Lundgren.
You. Rocky IV, OG Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that movie. It'll change your life.
We don't have him on here, but I
Oh.
want to add Tamora Morrison, who is his dad.
Oh, the dad.
He's obviously Jango Fett and the voice of all the clones in those
Ooh,
movies.
that's who that is.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's also
God.
Commander Cody in Revenge of the Sith, and he's all of the clone troopers.
Let me guess. He's Fives. He's Rex.
Yeah, and then he's also the father of Moana in Moana. So shout out to that guy because he was great. in this.
AKA Father of the Year,
Yeah.
because he's a father to 1,000 clones.
Yep.
Dolph Lundgren also was in Expendables most recently, and then in fucking Creed 2. Score: Rupert Gregson Williams, who did Wonder Woman. So- no, that's Junkie XL. But Hacksaw Ridge and Legend of Tarzan. Cinematography: Don Burgess, Forrest Gump,
Nice.
Spider-Man original, and Conjuring 2. So that's where James Wan picked that guy up. Runtime is 143 minutes. Budget is $200 million. And the box office worldwide, as of Friday, again, this is Friday, so we won't see what happens with the weekend. It's probably going to be, fucking huge. But as of worldwide on Friday, 332.1 million.
Good for them.
I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to tell you like this. Money is
one
great.
day. That's one day.
Money is great.
I just want to throw that out there.
No, it's 2 weeks in China.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And the thing is like this. It did 66% better than any movie this year. It has the lowest amount of drop-off than any superhero movie to date.
Wow.
It is already surpassed Civil War in terms of worldwide box office,
Wow.
What?
but that doesn't make this better than Civil War
Yeah.
to me, right?
Yeah.
Money
No.
doesn't make good movies.
No.
Good movies make good movies.
In fact, a lot of my favorite movies failed at the box office.
100%. And but I will say this: having a huge box office means they're going to get a sequel.
Yep.
It means that DCEU lives.
They may listen to the tone and be like, "What did we do right?"
Yeah. That means DCEU lives again to be called something like DECEU or something like that.
Yeah.
ACDCU.
Apparently, I'm never going to live this down.
Never.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Um,
It's a
Fucked
much
up,
bigger
Ollie.
thing than I thought it would be.
know.
Yeah.
it's just the way you dismissed it, and you were like, "Oh, I'm not fallible." And I was like, "Okay,
That's part of
Wow.
the point.
exactly." Which is like, I'm going to just ream you now. Rotten Tomatoes score at 64%, while audience score,
He's just gonna drown you out.
Oh my God. It's back.
which is a Dark Knight's Metal Batman. Anyways, audience score is at 86%, which again,
Wow.
we've talked about this on our show. Critics and audiences don't agree.
I thought I had a higher Rotten Tomato score for critics.
It did
No,
before.
Bumblebee does.
Oh, is that what it
Bumblebee is
missing out with?
97%
Okay.
and still there.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. Yes.
So that brings us to favorite parts.
it does. Are you raising your hand because you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start
Okay.
it off.
Jason Momoa.
His it's specific. His pecs. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Favorite parts.
Oh, no, you were kidding. Got it.
I love when I believe they were in the Sahara Desert, and he's like, or Sicily. I'm sorry, they happened very fast. When he's like, "All right, Fight Club."
That was the Sahara.
Yeah, Sahara.
She's like, "I want to punch you in the face right now." Okay, Fight Club.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
All the references are good.
I actually loved anything with Black Manta. I was like, oh dang, I'm very excited to see what happens with this.
Oh yeah. His suit was phenomenal.
Yeah.
His suit looked exactly
Shout
how I wanted it to
Out
look.
to
Yeah.
Ironhead Studios.
Yeah.
If you have
Is that who did it?
Everyone in the
Oh,
world.
of course it's
If
Ironhead.
you guys have a superhero movie, don't fuck with Bryan Singer. Fuck with Ironhead Studios.
They're the
Yeah.
guys who did the Apocalypse one that never got used that looked exactly like
Oh,
Apocalypse.
that's right.
Got it.
They do everything.
Yeah.
They did Thor's
good.
helmet. They did BVS. They did Black Panther. It's like, guys, they know
Yeah,
what they're doing.
They don't
Please.
fuck around.
They
Please.
did really well with his suit. When I saw it in the trailer
I
for the
want more
first
of that
time, I was like,
sexiness.
thank God they didn't make it like they shouldn't. Let's sleek up Black Manta here. No,
No.
leave his helmet big and weird and large because that's the way I like it.
We can
Yeah.
put him in black leather.
I like that he even comments that his helmet needs to be bigger too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a bigger helmet. I really love the oh, this probably takes the cake for me. When they're above the trench, they're in that boat, and the
Oh,
trench are
the
starting
shot?
to take over,
That-
and the shot, like
Where?
just going down.
Is a James Wan shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does that shit in Insidious when they're in the, I don't know what the fuck they call it, the spirit world.
Yeah.
But he has a fucking red light and there's
Yeah.
a blue world. It's like,
And they're going down that whole sequence, and then eventually kind of ending with, oh, mom's alive. Like it, like Nicole Kidman's like costume, or like
She's
her.
been in the quantum realm. I mean,
I was gonna say, yeah. I was like, it's fucking Wasp all over again.
I mean,
No,
Dinosaur
that
Island.
totally looked like How to Train Your Dragon 2.
yeah.
yeah.
A lot.
Is this a new trope we're building with mom characters that they're never dead? They also just went to another
Yeah.
dimension.
They're just
Oh,
badass.
And
I
they're going to
immediately-
save you.
I immediately thought that. I was
They've
like,
got
oh, Ant-Man and the
creature
Wasp.
bones on their outfit.
Yeah.
So we know what's going to happen in Star Wars 8.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm gonna give it back to the room, but
Yeah. Caitlin?
those
Yeah.
are a couple.
Caitlin.
Jason Momoa.
My favorite scene, well, yes, it does include Jason Momoa, so there's a start. The scene in the bar when they're like,
Taking
Aquaman is taking selfies.
You
When
that
it looks
fish
like
boy?
they want to like
He's got the
fight
pink
him.
phone and everything.
He's like, can we just get some pictures? I just, for Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
And the way they
watching the
progress from
story
him,
unfold.
yeah, he's like pissed, and then by the end of it,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah.
Don't
Drinking
touch
with
me.
him.
And then they're drinking together and having a great time.
Lifting
I'm
him
like,
up.
yes.
They're drinking Guinness.
That's how you want the evening to go.
To play off that, I loved the scene with his dad right before it too. Like the line where he was like, I can breathe
Yes.
underwater, but you can still drink me under the table. And he's like, that's my superpower. And I was like, yes. Just a dad who has a super kid. And he's like, I love him.
Yeah.
I love my kid.
I love that in that scene of the fact that the biker dudes made Jason Momoa actually look like a little smaller than them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, is this guy just going to tower? I was like, oh, actually, never mind.
Yeah.
He looks like a normal dude compared to these guys. And they're just super nice with a pink phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah,
that.
I was happy that with the dad that he wasn't gonna go into this like stereotypical or cliche.
With great power comes great
like,
responsibility.
Well, no, not like you
Ugh.
shouldn't do that because of.
I'm Robert Downey
danger.
Jr. You should
Oh,
be a
like, you
neighborhood
shouldn't-
Your
Spider-Man.
mom got it hurt, or whatever BS.
She
that he
got
was-
it hurt, so don't you get hurt also
Yeah. So
too.
but
Don't
this
you go get
was-
it hurt.
Yeah. Don't
Instead,
you go get it
instead
hurt.
he's like, you're doing it.
You're doing
You're
it.
doing the
like,
Aquaman thing.
He was proud of him.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
proud of him.
Yeah, he was. I dug it.
Oh, and the little love story with the lighthouse, and he's like, he goes to the end of the dock every day.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ugh.
That
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
love
me up.
that.
Fuck me
that
up.
got me.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I don't even care about Aquaman. I want to see the resolution of this
I
story.
know.
Can I be honest with you? When
never
she was on the edge of the dock and he like stopped at the end, I was like,
Yeah.
if he's not fucking sprinting down this dock, which he was, I was so
Yeah.
happy. I was like, I won't believe it.
Mhm.
And he was. He sprinted the
cried a
entire way
little.
down.
I
But
was like,
when
Oh,
he
it was
almost dies, I was like, if he dies, I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hate this movie forever.
Yep.
Don't worry, it's not. Whedon didn't direct it.
Yeah. Right.
Because that would have been
God.
Whedon's like motivator.
Yeah. Like, oh, your dad
Which I was
died.
so happy. I was like, oh, thank God he didn't die.
Yeah. When she saved him, I was like, oh my god.
Which
Yeah.
was a
So happy.
great introduction
Don't
of her
you
powers.
Coulson him.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of powers, my other favorite part was like her pulling water from his face and putting it on the little map thing. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
show off. You could have peed on it.
Yeah, I literally said the
peed on
same
it.
thing. I was like, there could have been another way, and then I was like, oh, makes
Yeah.
sense. Which I like. And the thing about that I love, the comedy doesn't feel to me super jam packed in,
No.
because it's almost
Yeah.
invited with every line that Jason Momoa says.
Yeah.
Like one that I was like, okay, don't be fucking Marvel, where it's like there's just a joke just thrown in there for like
To end the
line-o-ramas.
scene.
What is the part where they get her fucking bike boat thingy?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't want to go in that. It smells like blah, blah. It's like, that's an improvement for you. And it's like, it's because he made fun of that first.
Yeah.
Then she's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of like, he's like, what is that? It's like, whatever it is smells better than you. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
there's
didn't
a
like that he
different,
sniffed himself.
There's a
afterwards.
different of.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
There's a difference of how the joke is written.
She was provoked to make
do
a
it.
joke at him.
And that's the thing is that they're literally.
That's why Tony Stark's jokes work well. Is because he usually
he invites it.
is a response, or he responds to someone
Yeah.
being a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Someone opens himself
Yeah.
up for it.
Yeah.
Dare I
Opening
say
the
it
door.
starts to build, it starts to define their relationship a little bit. Heaven forbid.
So
Maybe. We'll see.
What's happening?
my
I don't know.
my favorite part.
It's a Family Guy thing.
Yes,
Oh,
it
okay.
is. My favorite part is get the Trident quest. Is going into the fucking the room, and then the fucking giant
Yeah.
tentacle thing comes in. The dialogue, you're unworthy,
Yeah.
and he's like, I know I'm unworthy. I
Cheesy as fuck, like coming through the waterfall in the like
oh fuck yeah,
Aquaman
Oh, I love
garb,
Fabio
like,
shit.
No.
I had butter in my lap. It melted.
That
Yeah.
suit looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
I've seen
On
it
Jason Momoa's body.
30 times in that goddamn trailer, and I still, when he stepped out, clapped with the rest
It's
of the
so
audience.
good.
Because
There's
I
a
was like,
poster of it with him, like full.
That's
full
the movie.
size.
That's
Yeah.
I want that
I
poster.
think that's gonna be the DVD
It's-
box art.
Like it
I
should
am
be.
so glad that because I didn't like his suit in Justice League.
Hmm.
Because like a lot of
Well-
the teasers were like just the one shoulder thing.
Yeah.
I was
Pauldron.
looking for that. So this was a wonderful,
Mhm.
like embrace that. There's things that
Right.
people identify with characters. It's the reason that like I've said I want to go. I don't like that line in fucking X-Men and like
No, you
Yeah.
like it for the time it was.
For the time
Now
it
it
was.
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
but like I wouldn't have minded then even if they put him in spandex because like that's what I think of when I think of Wolverine. I don't think black leather suit.
but
I think bright yellow.
also kind of the
I wouldn't have minded Jason Momoa in
the-
spandex, though.
the kind of reveal of it in a sense of why it is that like
Oh,
the
because it's
king,
Atlans.
the Atlan,
the
like,
true king.
the true king, he was wearing it, and I was like, because the whole movie, I mean, not the whole movie, I'm not gonna exaggerate, but you see it and you're like, okay, how's he gonna get the costume? How's he gonna do that?
That's the thing. Like I love that with trailers where it's like you see stuff,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
what you see. It's
Yeah.
how you get to that point.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm
It's
totally
gangster
down
as
for
fuck.
that.
It's
Yeah.
gangster as fuck.
That
Like that
suit
whole
is-
sequence.
Yeah.
Like talking to the fucking monster thing, like saying he's
Kraken.
unworthy, fucking like proving his powers with like the ability to speak to it, like, you know, pleading for that one final, like, you know, coward's prayer of like, I'm not worthy. I need to do this for the people I love. And then
And if
when
that's not good enough for you, then screw
when
you.
he finally grabs
like,
it, he
"Alright."
grabs it. It has a fucking like pulse,
Yeah.
and then it just goes through his brain, and then he just like fucking rips it out of the hands instead
Yeah.
of like just taking it and like raising it high. He fucking grabs that shit because that's his fucking destiny. And then later on, it's like that's it, cut, reveal
Also,
to the fucking
little-
gold suit.
little teeny nugget because I like was looking out for this because the moment he ripped it away, I was like, did he break his fingers off?
No, he
No,
got
just
he got
disintegrated.
Thanos.
Yeah,
yeah.
He got Thanos.
he's like,
Yeah, he just like touched
His
it and
essence
it
got
worked through the
sucked
hands
into
because his
the-
fingers were. Well, no, I like looked at his hands that were still in the shape of like holding it.
Oh, yeah.
So he just like warped through his bones or
yeah, and
something.
then the king like gets absorbed into the trident, his dust.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, is that
oh,
what
He
it
got-
was?
he got
Very
Thanos.
cool.
Infinity tried it.
Um,
But that
He
part
didn't feel very
leads
good.
to fucking Momoa arriving at the final fight,
Riding
on
the
top of
Kraken.
fucking
Mm.
monster. It was, and then he,
Karothen, I think they called it.
but
it's the
what
Kraken.
does he say when he comes in? Nothing. He just goes, "Ah!" It's like fucking amazing. It's like this is so heavy metal.
yeah.
This is so
So he has.
fucking
He says
good.
something. He says something in his native tongue. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it is. He says it 2 or 3 times throughout the movie.
But I mean, just you see fucking gold trident lightning striking.
What you just said is like perfect.
It's fucking
It's
heavy
metal.
It's
Yeah,
It
fucking
is
heavy metal.
just
heavy metal.
heavy
shit.
metal.
It's so gangster. I'm like, this is badass. Like this dude will fuck up anybody who's coming his way.
One of my favorite parts was the Manta fight. That
Oh.
whole sequence that felt
That
like
was a really
like
great
In
sequence.
Italy.
80% one shot and some cuts in between.
Mhm.
The way they stitched together the scenes where it would be chasing her and then it would zoom out to him by the bell and like
Yeah.
back into chasing that one guy chasing her underneath. And like, I think that whole scene was shot so well. And then like, Mira getting to pull the water from the wine and like turn
That
it
was
into
cool.
barbs.
Oh,
That
That
was
was
amazing.
When she just realized,
Oh.
she's
Fucking
like,
make
"Oh, I'm
wine
surrounded by
popsicles.
water
Yeah,
right now."
her little wine
Oh,
bending.
okay. I dug that. I loved Jason Momoa shoulder checking the bell. So it
Yes,
didn't hit
I was
the
gonna
girl.
say yes. That's fucking instead of catching like Superman,
Ooh.
Yeah.
shoulder checks it.
But my favorite part of the whole movie is actually the introduction of Aquaman. in the submarine.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Like
They should have come aboard.
him going through the whole thing, like with the submarine shield thing that he keeps tossing around, and like
It was very Winter Soldier-y.
beating the shit out of people, and then just standing that one guy being like, all right, stay right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then like
Like-
the way he opens the hatch with the body of the pirate and
Yeah.
then just tosses him aside, and they're like, it's Aquaman. Like
Yeah.
the music was great there. The suspense was awesome. The fight with Manta, where the blade just like hits him and doesn't
breaks.
do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I don't know. That whole scene like set up exactly what I was in for the
Yeah.
whole movie. And I was like, if I see more of this, I'm solid.
Mm-hmm.
To be quite honest, when that fight was happening, like now I'm remembering all the cool stuff that happened, but all I can remember is Jason Momoa like doing the hero landing and then standing up and looking through my soul.
Yeah.
Like
Turning
three
around.
different times.
The music
yeah,
there
turning
is
around and
phenomenal.
doing
His
like
theme.
the hair flip and everything. I was like, what is
His theme was great,
hi,
and there was
hello.
the overall beyond that scene, the fight scenes in this were some of the best I've
That's-
seen.
Oh
Yeah, I wanted to
God,
point
they
out,
were
like,
so good.
They
the
were
Miro or the not the
very
Miro one,
good.
the
Atlanta.
Queen Atlanta, like that was that first fight.
Yeah,
in
the
the
one in the
lighthouse.
house.
That's my favorite scene of
When
probably
she
the whole movie.
Tridents the couch to jump over and
Yes.
kick someone, and then tosses it.
flings
Oh
it
my
at-
God.
Like the whole, just the whole like one take, like
Yeah.
crazy gimbal setup, whatever that was. However, like that's one thing that I want to see, like the behind the scenes of. Hopefully, like when the Blu-ray comes out or whatever,
Well,
that we can
Variety
see
will
that.
do something for that.
Or Variety will do something.
Or like
I want
the
to see
Black
how that
Panther
was
one.
shot,
Yeah.
because like that first, like in the living room scene, the fight scene was incredible. Just the tracking of it.
And the way they move felt like this is the thing I have liked about the DCEU so far is like with Batman versus Superman, and not as much in Justice League, I didn't feel it, but in Wonder Woman and in this,
Wonder
the
Woman
fight
had it.
scenes
Yeah,
had like they move like superheroes, like
Yeah.
they're big, strong
Yeah.
people.
they're like they're almost like ballads. Like
Yeah.
they go with the music really well. They have a really
That's-
good flow to
They
them.
can jump far. They
You're,
can
you're
punch
jumping onto
hard.
like some Jackie Chan shit.
Yeah.
Like that's how he says most fight choreography should be. It should be
Mm-hmm.
dance.
Yeah, and it's like I felt that with that first scene when if I was like, if the rest of the fighting
That's
is
what
like
it set such a good first impression.
I mean, you're talking about people who blades don't cut.
But also, so
Like they should have some gravity
loved
to
it.
their swings.
And this had my favorite thing that you see me complain about so many times.
the music swells.
No. It's the
Strong
one line,
female.
It's the one line explanation, because the whole beginning of it I was like, why is he impenetrable? Why is he just basically Superman? And then like
Atlantean
Volcor is
steel.
like, your body needs to be able to take the water pressure. So your body is stronger because of it. I'm like, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's literally
you.
It's one line.
Yep.
That's literally the explanation. So when people are like, "Oh, Aquaman's not the strong," it's like, "Yo, he could go fisticuffs with Superman."
Yeah.
But going back to a little bit of the submarine thing.
Yeah.
The thing I like about it, I'm all for shirtless superhero sequences
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like
Caitlin,
Well,
I just heard Caitlin go.
I'm just
Please,
Can we pull
more
that
of them.
line just aside, apart?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say like this because the thing about it is like a little bit we talked about last episode. This is a little more of a sequel to Spider-Verse. Like Jake Johnson was talking about like working out all the fucking time. Like the superhero fucking genre is a machismo kind of thing or a strong thing for people and all that stuff. And like I love the functionality. Like shirtless Chris Evans, he's shirtless for 1 second, then he puts a shirt on, then starts running. Shirtless Thor puts a shirt on, then starts fucking up shit in a fucking shield bullshit. Him shirtless, like Jason Momoa shirtless, he's fighting people, he's shirtless.
Yeah.
Like there's no real rhyme or reason for him to be shirtless,
Tasty.
but at least he's doing something, so they don't have to have like a stunt double to it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, this is
Yeah.
fucking great because it shows like the bravado.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It reminds me, it's likened to like 80s, 90s action heroes.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of the best accents are taken. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean to take the spirit of it, but accents
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Or when
Um,
that guy punches him and it doesn't affect him at all, and he's just like, like, I loved like
Well,
that whole submarine scene was phenomenal.
him being like in jeans and without a shirt is also like he's a superhero all the time. He doesn't have to suit up to be one.
Right.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
born Arthur Curry. He didn't become
Yeah.
Arthur
Yeah.
Curry.
Yeah.
I do want to say one last thing. What I really like about this is that since it is underwater, they can like it's something that only space movies do, and I don't even think they do it that well.
Yeah.
Is that they take advantage of the fact that you're in 3 dimensions.
Mhm.
Most fight scenes are linear, a lot of times, and then they just hop around. But they
You're
have
talking about like the Ring of Fire, where they're
Ring
like
of
swinging
Fire,
around.
Ring of Fire, any type of water
Upside
kind of thing.
down,
Like they could
didn't
fight,
matter.
they can go around, they can go all the. That's the one thing in a weird way tangent I loved about Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. It's one of the bosses you have to be underwater, so you go up, down, left, right, forward, backwards.
Yeah.
Like
You can be everywhere.
in most fighting sequences,
Be
like
everywhere is a good way to put
it's linear. It's one line,
like real life.
and I don't like that.
Another favorite part, and I know that we don't. It's speculation. Sorry, I'm trying to peck. No,
Thank you, Josh.
you're welcome. No, I don't want to go into speculation land. I'm just gonna say that what I liked was Patrick Wilson's character, Orm.
Orm.
When his mom shows up at the end, and there's something about it that his whole character is like
Shook.
shook.
Because his worldview just changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me because there's something about his character that I'm like,
You get it.
I believe him, but I also he could be a really great ally in a sense. And I don't know any background, and Tom's given me the sexy eyes.
Well, I was saying,
eyebrow.
wouldn't it be
Lowdown.
great if you pulled a Jeffrey Rush from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
the enemy,
Well,
my
it's the
enemy's my
whole-
friend.
I mean, I think the mom even says is that you're misguided. And
Yeah.
it's like, you have limited perspective from just down below. You had no surface.
And from what your dad told you.
from what your dad told you.
He had me killed.
It's the exact opposite of Thor's story.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Mhm.
Well, I was just going to talk about the visuals a little bit if no one else had any other favorite specific parts.
The visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is a big feat. So when I saw Justice League and I knew they were making an Aquaman movie, I said walking out, I was like, I'm excited for an Aquaman movie, but I was nervous of how the CG would be because it's hard to do.
It's a whole world underwater.
I can't say off the top of my head, and I've thought about this for the last couple of days, I can't think of a movie that was live action that took place underwater as much as this did and looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that could hold a candle to it, but apparently didn't do well because I didn't watch it, but Valerian,
Oh, yeah. I
the
didn't
Luc
see
Oh.
Besson film,
Yeah.
like that world looked beautiful, but I don't know
Yeah.
how well it stood together.
or how
this,
much of it's underwater.
like this,
Yeah.
like I feel like
It's-
it was what sold you, Ollie.
Well, what I was going to say is it's really easy to make things look stupid underwater
It is.
because people inherently are clumsy and dumb looking underwater.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so there was a lot of room for error.
Right.
And I think
I think they handled it as well as they possibly could have, which is not an understatement. It's
no,
just
it
like
was wonderful.
it was done really
I
well.
was so delighted to see that like the underwater scenes weren't
Like,
cheesy.
there's just enough of a like weird distortion effect.
There's like
Like,
a
the
line
the way
that
they
goes
moved
through.
was cool.
The hair
like-
was perfect.
They have like an audio thing going on
Yeah.
with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like just the city of Atlantis looked beautiful.
Yeah.
all the different kingdoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all look unique.
They all, yeah, it was, which was interesting.
And like the sharks
I
and
want
the
to learn more.
seahorses like looked great.
Yeah.
The dragon seahorse thing.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I was really blown away with the visuals of this movie.
Okay, I want to add on to that.
Yeah.
Your part, Josh, the fucking James Wan trench sequence is great.
Yeah.
But like I love this, and I think maybe the CGI was a little crazy, but like I fucking loved the revolving flashback with Willem Dafoe and Amber Heard.
Yeah.
That was really well
replaced. Like it, like there's Batman Begins, and then you have segmented flashbacks, which make good sequences, and it provides a great like narrative. But with this, like it feels like it's one continuous mindset that Jason Momoa is on, and that how we should feel, which I
Wait, which
really
part?
enjoyed that. It's when they're on top of the fucking cove, and it's right before they're about to go down. And then he's like, "This is where Volko taught me how to swim
yeah,
first."
yeah.
And
Okay.
it revolves back and forth. I was
They
like, "This is
did that
fucking
that was one thing that I really, really, really appreciated about the film is that when there were flashbacks, they were handled nicely in terms of like
Very graceful.
It went into it. Like it was like something splashed and it was a splash in the flashback, or something happened and it was a hit to it.
like when they do a fast forward as well with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Where she like is in Tom's arms, and then it starts it's the camera starts tracking over, and then the moment it passes like something that it can cut to.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman's on the couch.
Yeah.
Year like days later or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah. With the
Yeah.
dog
when
watching
I
her.
jumped. That was cool.
was yummy.
Kaylin,
Hmm.
did you have anything about the visuals you wanted to add?
It was just beautiful. I think one of the things that I appreciated most, because I mean, everything was just pretty. I can just say, I love how everything looks
Yeah.
because it was beautiful. But one thing that I really, really appreciated was how well they did sizes,
Hmm.
like scale of
Like
things.
the scale of things.
Okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, all right,
So like the Kraken was fucking huge.
yeah.
Massive.
Or Karathan, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Just
sorry,
call it Kraken.
names
I'm just gonna call
escape
it
me.
Kraken. I just keep calling it Kraken, so I don't. It's what it is.
Yeah.
But like when they were in the early stages when Red Hair King Mark or whatever his name was talking with King Orm.
Dolphin Lundgren.
Yeah, Dolphin Lundgren. When they're talking in those ruins
Yeah.
and they're like, well,
You remember the ones of the Seven Kings?
you'll see like
Yeah, the 7 Kings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where he's like going around in there and you can see how massive it is. And then like in the city when there are whales coming through and they're just like teeny tiny.
Oh yeah.
You really
was
get a
killer.
sense of like
Whale.
the true scale killer whales really.
The entrance to
Yeah.
the entrance to the city. Atlantis.
Orcas.
Oh, the gate. Oh,
Mhm.
the
Oh, the
gate
gate was
and like
cool.
the highway into the town.
Yeah.
Like I have a personal, I don't know why, but I love it when there are just massive creatures, specifically sea creatures. So
I didn't like that they had traffic though.
Oh, I love
That
that.
was true.
I
But it's like customs. I
loved
get it.
that they had
Yes.
traffic.
No, but even inside the city there was traffic, and I was like,
Yeah.
nah, it's
it was so appropriate.
I like
Like
that.
how could it?
I
How
like
would there
that.
not be traffic?
It's like Wakanda. Why is there a busy
because
market?
they're like apparently one of the most advanced technological nations in the DC.
But they'll never figure out traffic.
Yeah, they
traffic
haven't
will
figured out
always be
traffic
there.
yet.
Well,
No one will ever.
Well, traffic's
understand
based
traffic.
on human reaction time.
They're not human.
Okay.
They're Atlantis.
actually
Superhuman
flows
reaction
like-
time.
Traffic actually moves like water as
Until
well.
they become hive mind, they'll have traffic.
Yeah,
So it only makes sense that traffic exists more so underwater
fair
than above
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
Anyways, we don't have favorite characters. I feel like main character is Aquaman, but let's do every supporting character. So favorite supporting character.
That's a good question.
The dad.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was gonna say the dad.
dad was-
probably.
So great. Like
Wow.
he's such a champ through the whole thing. And he wasn't like mad. He was just happy when things were okay.
Yeah.
And he was
Wow.
supportive of his son and being a single dad. And like he did it all. And
He
he was
waited every
happy
day at
about
the dock.
everything. Yeah. He's
I'll
just
go.
like a champ.
So Corey and Caitlin both like Tom.
Yeah.
So Tom will go next, and I'll say I like King. I like King Orm. I like King Orm a lot
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
talking to Corey a little bit about this. Like, I'm the younger brother, and this is like the younger brother. It's funny. It's literally like
Because
opposite.
I'm the older brother, so I didn't like him.
Well, it's literally
Piece of
like
shit.
it's funny because it is opposite Thor's story. You know, like Loki's the half breed, Jason
Yeah.
Momoa's the half breed. Thor, Orm is supposed to get the throne, and then it's not going to happen. All that shit. But instead is like it's Thor going to the human world. Now it's Aquaman going to the like Atlantis world.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like I liked Orm mainly because he was I like the fact that he's very efficient. I like the fact that like he's very ambitious and that he's just like, we're gonna get this shit done right now at any means necessary. Also, I'm gonna kill everyone in my way. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's kind of a gangster. And like his mask, fucking love that mask.
It looked
Like,
good.
That
Yeah.
again,
I like-
In
everything
the way that it
phenomenal.
attached, like it,
Oh.
like tentacles, like it. The
Like,
rest of it, like, it was
every
it was baller.
again, everything that could look stupid in this movie, they
Yeah.
made it look really good. I was like, Jesus.
We'll just
Like,
call this Thor with like two H's. 'Cause then it would be TH2OR.
Jesus.
Tahor?
Oh.
TH2O.
H2 Thor.
Yeah.
No, I
Oh.
got yeah.
To Thor.
But yeah,
I agree with
like
that.
Orm.
Yeah, that-
Orm, and he's a fucking skilled fighter.
Yeah,
Like
that's
his-
my answer too. It's I was really impressed by the performance, and I think the character was written really well. I didn't hate him as a villain, which is like I was like, this is interesting. I like the conflict here, and this is something that I actually want to like hear out and see how it plays out because they both have good points. Blah blah blah.
Well, it's like he's emotionally charged. He's rage filled, but also, yeah, like fucking they treat
he
the
just
fucking
wants
I
ocean
his
agree
like
mom.
because he would be my second choice besides dad, but I did hate him.
Yeah.
But I think that he did
It's
his
good.
job well.
it's
if
a
I hate
Cruella
him.
de Vil thing.
I was on the fence until he stabbed the Fish King, and I was like, "You fuck."
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll
Oh
give you
yeah,
that.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He was like, "We want
I
to just
wasn't cool with
teach and
that.
spread knowledge about our." And he was like, "All right," stabbed him in the gut in front of his kid.
I'll give you
Well,
that.
it's the progression, seeing like his tactics are becoming more and more violent. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm going to have a political debate with this or discussion with this guy." Ah, okay, he disagrees. I'm going to kill him. Versus like, we're not going to talk to the brine people. We're just
Yeah.
going to fucking kill them
Yeah.
and then take their army. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like he's
I
escalating.
can't believe they didn't even ask, like, why is your Triton behind your back, by the way? It's sticking out like 3 feet above your
Yeah.
head, Orm.
What?
He was like,
What,
no reason,
this?
just holding it back here.
This nah.
Totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Bouquet of flowers. These are for you.
Yeah.
Josh,
They weren't flowers. They were a stab to the gut.
It's a trap.
you can eat flowers.
I really liked Orem. I just think that Patrick Wilson did an amazing job.
Do you know what I was gonna catch?
Orm.
No. So the funny thing is, you said Orem.
Mhm.
I think obviously you missed it. King Arthur's real name, his Atlantean name, is Orin.
Yeah.
So Orm and Orin.
Nice.
And so I'm like, hold on.
Which is almost Odin, which is almost Thor.
Jesus Christ. H2 Thor.
TH2OR.
Orm. And then my second, it would be Nicole Kidman, Atlanta. The thing about this movie is it left me wanting more.
Yes.
I want to know more.
Which a good movie should.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There you go. So what does that bring us to, Tom?
That brings us into some qualms.
Yeah.
Woo!
DJ Qualms. Spin
Did
that
it,
track.
in fact, leave us wanting more?
No. Okay,
in
you know
some
what?
Specific areas.
I was gonna say, hold on. I
Explore.
got this. DJ Qualms in the house. Gonna spin that Pitbull track.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because okay, so
Dear.
the viral marketing released that song, being like, "Hey, check out the fucking cover or version of blah blah Africa Toto, fucking classic, never go away." That song should be played at every karaoke session. Fuck you.
Not that version.
But not that version. No. The thing about and we were just talking about this. I fucking love soundtrack, and I also like score. I love the blending of the two. This one played a little too much soundtrack for me. Too much original
The
music
score's
by
great.
artists. The score is great. Fucking Rupert Gregson did an amazing job. And like I like the idea of like staying that way, but then I do like the blend of it. But this one to me, like the sound bridge to have the Pitbull song, just kind of like, all right, I get it. We're fucking going to Dubai and shit and like having a good time and hanging out and it's gonna be all cool.
No.
And then like also a part with me, like Corey will disagree, but like the Black Manta, him fixing his suit thingy, like that music was just like, all right, like it felt like Deadpool's like killing Francis
Yeah.
sequence, where it's like the Deadpool song.
No, I don't disagree with you at all.
felt-
I agree with you 100% actually.
Well, I don't like that over the fact that you don't like the part in Italy part.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm okay with the Italy part.
No, I hated the fucking
Italy
song in
part?
Italy.
The music
Wait,
in Italy.
you did?
Oh.
The
Why?
like folky love song.
Yeah.
It took me right out of it. I was like, this seems like a song you would put in like Ants.
Ants, the
That's true.
CGI movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't.
Wow.
It took me out of the film. It like the same way that the Toto song took me out. Like suddenly I was like, oh, I'm in a movie theater.
Yeah.
I'm not invested any longer. This
Yeah.
that's right. I'm watching a movie.
The music choices didn't always complement the scenes, and they stood out, like you were saying. Even the score, some of the score stuff, I feel like it was a little.
You don't like the when the music swelled when they looked at people's faces?
No, I didn't love the sort of synth parts of it as much as I wanted to, because like I'm all about that kind of music, but I feel like it, like the sort of synthy-ness of some of the soundtrack, I don't think really fit super well with it. I don't know. And then on top of that, there was Pitbull and all
My
that stuff.
biggest issue with the because I enjoyed the score for the most part. I
Yeah.
liked his theme, especially on the thing.
It
but
complemented it
my-
fine. I just
my issue with the Sicily one, and I told Tom about this, is like I don't have an issue with the action. I don't have an issue with what goes on there. Like I thought her taking a bite of the rose and then him doing it back was
Cute.
hilarious. I thought
Yeah.
that was great. But what the song
Cute
did to
AF.
me was just it felt like the people writing the movie or directing it were like, "Hey, they're in love. Remember,
Romantic
they're falling
scene.
in love," and they hadn't yet. They hadn't done anything romantic
Yeah.
yet. So it felt like a lot to just like shove in your face.
It
Because
felt
the
they
song
were-
is like
actually
about like a girl
wasn't the-
that he loves.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Caitlin.
music for me.
Yeah.
It was actually the visuals of that whole scene.
See, like, I think if we were to re-edit it and put different music underneath it, it would change the entire vibe of that. But that action mixed with that hipster love song, like, took me right out of it. I was like, none of this matches. None of this feels right.
I think there
To
might have.
me,
Go ahead.
Yeah, what were you saying?
it could have been any music. Honestly, it was the visuals for me. Because, like, everybody was like, I don't know, the Sicilian marketplace thing is just too specifically like, and now they're in love. Because
That's what- yeah,
I do
that's
remember
my-
being kind of taken out of it, but it wasn't the music for me. It was the visuals.
It was too romantic of a
Yeah.
like setup.
It's hard for me to tell. It could
Yeah.
be both. But as far as like if I'm thinking of it, I'm gonna try to edit that when it comes out to see if I'm right. If
I was
different
hoping
music would
I was
change the
hoping it
vibe.
would
Please do.
land more with like her discovering the top side as opposed to them being in love. But I do agree with Kaylin in the sense that it felt like it was kind of leaning you more towards that.
Felt very forced.
Yeah, a little bit.
Super forced.
I agree,
how I
100%.
talked about music and it led to this thing. But I have another qualm.
Sorry.
Is I don't know that Mera and Aquaman should have gotten into a relationship right after, like at the end of the movie.
I agree.
Like I think
Yeah.
the relationship could have been there. They could have been buds. They could have been
But
partners.
maybe not yet.
They could have just trusted each other. He could have shown her a whole new world.
There
But
could have been flirtatious things going on, but
yeah, like at the end, it could have just been like, I trust you, you trust me, and she becomes like a royal advisor,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on becomes queen by the second, like the second act of the second movie.
Yeah.
And like, because we know this is going to be a long form arc. Like, there's going to be a trilogy. There's going to be more movies with them and all that shit. And so I'm okay with the fact that like, hey, we're supposed to care about them. And you could play with that. You could play with the complications of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think about complications with that relationship is like if they're about to get married and bullshit starts happening, like stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, there's this other girl now and blah blah. Here's Gwen Stacy. Sorry, MJ. You know,
So
like that.
here's
kind
my interpretation of
other
that.
way around.
And I think
No,
it applies.
it's Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
My interpretation of that, which I think applies to the whole film, is that they played, and I'm not sure if this is a qualm or not. This is just a
Conversation. piece.
conversation piece. I think they played the plot very safe, in the
It's a
sense
very
that
simple
there's no like twists or anything like that.
Like, oh shit.
Nothing unexpected.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was them wanting to play it a little bit safer to try to make sure that it kind of becomes like a more mass appeal success. And then they were able to kind of weave in some extra things like the cool cinematography moments and
Well, I would add to that point. This is like how Iron Man 1 is a very simple movie,
right.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
they
very
did
well
just
executed.
enough to
but like
elevate it a little bit
Civil
more.
War, Captain America is a little complicated,
Right.
and they can take some risks with that.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
like that's where the place is.
Because they by that time they had established
Like,
their
They
place.
have the sort of
Their
and
tone.
MCU has, for all we praise it, its crutches is the fact that it has
It's
10
standing
years
on
of
everyone's
movies.
shoulders.
Right. So you don't have to. So like, it's the reason I teared up during the Avengers 4 teaser is because like on that first shot, it's because you know exactly what happened. You had 10 years of movies, and it's led you to this moment where he's
Going to die.
I'm not going to spoil that scene, but you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the Avengers 4 teaser.
But yeah, I did say a lot of the things that could look dumb, they made look great, but there's some things that looked bad that I don't think that should have looked bad.
Yeah.
Like Dolph Lundgren as a strawberry blonde, I don't think that was a great choice.
Yeah.
But the fact that his hair was like there, whatever, it's fine. Amber Heard's red ass hair, which is actually a wig.
So
Terrible
so
wig.
good.
Yeah.
To me, and my fix, I always say, like, if you have a problem, try to fix it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. My fix is this: Spider-Man 1, Kirsten Dunst is not a redhead, but
Mm-hmm.
she's fucking like brilliantly redhead color.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, orangish hair.
Yeah.
And go with that halfway point. Like, hey, bro, you can't make blonde into red, so just kind of marry them in a little bit, have a little orange
Yeah.
hair, that matches his suit. You know, you'd be okay. So that's my kind of
Yeah,
Which is what
they
she
could've
had in
sold-
Justice League.
yeah.
She had orange.
I mean, that
hair.
was a very unnatural red though. Like they could have
Yeah.
sold it with like a more natural redhead look.
A little, yeah.
Just wasn't a great wig. The way the wig moved too was
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
great.
Yeah.
I love Black Manta as a villain. I like his story. I love his purpose in it. The one thing that kind of like weirded me out a little bit, or I guess like put me in a place where I'm like, he feels very henchman-like, which I know he's a more fleshed out
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Like he is to me how Two-Face was in Dark Knight. He is a developed throughout the entire movie to the final end. Here's his final form, except he doesn't die because fucking they wanted to make more movies, which I think is a fucking great step. Don't kill your fucking great villains like fucking Killmonger. Keep them around so you can play with them more. He's just like revenge mode, only revenge
Yeah.
mode. There's zero like maybe it's something different. Maybe we could do this.
Yeah.
Maybe we can work with Orm a little bit more.
I didn't like how.
or the fact that he already was hunting Aquaman at the very beginning.
Yeah. That part of I was like,
yeah.
what? I mean,
I didn't love the setup. Like for me, if you like, the ultimate payoff is that sequence inside of Sicily, and I think that was amazing.
Yeah.
And you got there, great. Like the suit looks great.
I love the old
Everything
school
looks great.
suit.
You got your henchman
Yeah.
with you, and it works in that scene. I didn't like the build up to it as much. I didn't like the stuff afterwards.
What it like I wanted it to be like Two-Face, but what it ended up becoming was Crossbones is
it was very
Crossbones.
Crossbones.
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, he's a guy, but we're
He's
not.
kind of a
really-
minor annoyance.
And then, but then the thing they just kill his character off in fucking Civil War. But then in this, I'm like,
But the
I
problem
know they're
was-
gonna make this guy a bigger character.
The problem was though that I would have been okay with it if it was like a Crossbones treatment, but it wasn't. It was like they tried to build him up more and give him character and complexity that I don't think landed like all the time.
Well, I like the fact that like he wasn't just like, here's this teaser for the next movie. Like he actually had a point to be in the movie and have an action sequence.
I would have preferred him being more mysterious and us knowing less about him.
Well, that's fine,
Like-
but like having him
So,
still be Manta.
Django-ish more.
For me, I think I'm on the fence because there are some aspects I didn't like about him, but I think he's integral to the story because the whole message there is mercy.
Yeah.
So like even Jason Momoa even says it in the first scene, like save my dad. You kill a bunch of innocents and you ask the sea for mercy. Then he says halfway through the film, I created this enemy because I didn't know mercy.
Which is a beautiful.
And then at the end of the
Pays
film,
off with his brother.
he is merciful and lets his brother live. So like,
It's there.
I understand his importance in the film.
Yeah.
I do think my issue with it is like, as I've told Tom, it's that the fact that he knew how to reverse engineer
That was
Atlantean
my
tech
biggest problem.
with
with
no
Yeah.
warm up. Just
Yeah.
the next scene, he's breaking it all down.
Not only do you have to be
and it's a prototype, mind you.
right. That's the thing.
He's smarter than Tony
It's an
Stark. apparently.
Atlantean. You're right. Yeah. Not only you have to be a good like human engineer, but you have to also understand Atlantean technology
To turn water into plasma
and reverse engineer it when we've established that they're like the most advanced civilization
and somehow hook it up to your laptop.
and somehow
Because
program
it
it.
has USBs.
Yeah.
And
It's got a
program it.
USB port.
It has an operating system.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, if it's a MacBook, it might actually have to have a dongle.
yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh,
love
you gotta
that
have those
moment where
dongles.
he like cracks it open and has the like slime all over his fingers, and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck this is." And then like 2 seconds later, he's like, "Ah, I have a laser."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I despised that scene.
Yeah,
Uh,
So-
didn't really make a whole.
And
lot
that's
of
what I
sense.
meant by like we got there. We got
I
to
liked
Sicily,
the dad stuff.
but
I liked the submarine. Like I liked the moment with his dad, the black man or the manta. I liked
I
the
thought, thought you said the black man.
no black manta.
Well,
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
That makes a lot more
there,
sense.
There are two black men.
well,
Uh,
like he's like, call me Black Manta. Like it's the thing we dread from all these movies where we're like, okay, is he gonna name himself, or is like social media quote unquote gonna name him?
I like
Is it gonna
that
be
better.
cheesy?
I like that better than you're by yourself. Your name's Solo.
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
well, come on.
100%.
That doesn't count.
A character that makes himself versus a character that gets told who they are.
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I dug it because it tied back in with his dad and his grandpa and stuff.
Grandpa.
The only pitfall for me was that like we don't know he's a genius because he in the comics he is. He
Yeah.
designs his suit. He's an
But in this
engineering
movie
genius.
form, they haven't
didn't set
told
that up.
us.
They didn't prove it to me that
What I would have liked is
I would like
and-
to receive the suit from Orm.
yeah.
Who's
Who's the
complete suit?
Who's
Yeah.
the Korean actor in this? The guy that's super funny.
Oh, Randall Park.
Yeah, I wanted him a lot more in it, and I feel like they could have used him. He could have knocked on his door earlier in the movie and been like, "Hey, what's going on? Let me help you reverse
I
engineer."
think
your thing."
that would have been like a Spider-Man 2 or a BVS
Well,
thing.
I
where,
guess my
there's
point
too
is
many
that like
things.
you introduced enough components where you didn't follow through with them
Here's
about his character, so that like I didn't get the payoff, and I didn't believe enough. And I would have preferred you be more mysterious than if you're not going to show me everything. Like, don't show me anything. Like, be Boba Fett. You know, don't be.
my
this-
thing is like this is like Happy Hogan isn't always all around. You know what I mean? Like, and Randall Park to me, he's just the surface dwellers tie-in.
Is that what he's supposed to be?
yeah.
And that's
He's
why
like a conspiracy
like
theorist.
I fucking loved his two fucking scenes.
Yeah,
Because
they were great.
no, I mean, like, it's other than the fact of performance, but the fact of like it serves the narrative so well. Of like, this is Atlanteans attacking us. It's like those are just conspiracies. Like, no, you fucking asshole, you've seen Aquaman, and then
Yeah.
it to me it immediately reminded me like, oh shit, the word is out. Superheroes are among them.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
isn't a secret anymore, and that's the
Yeah.
thing with like DC EU versus MCU. MCU Phase 1, everything's a secret, other than Iron Man.
Yeah.
In this, everything's out in the open. Everyone knows
Yeah.
of the Wonder Woman. Everyone knows of the Batman. Everyone knows of
Yeah.
Aquaman, which hopefully can work in their advantage. And I like the fact that he did that because it does kind of play like how Jason Momoa
Yeah.
said, like he's the Obama of the ocean.
I'm just
For
saying,
me-
like they established that character really well. And at the end, it was in the mid credit scene. That was a really cool sequence because you got to see him involved and stuff.
Yeah,
I just
he'll
wish
be back.
they could have leveraged that to help explain those weird.
So I don't think I personally would have wanted to see him more.
Yeah.
I think my happy medium is because I would have liked to focus more on Black Manta, have him be given the suit. If he wants to spray paint it black because of all the Atlantean stuff is all white and blue or red and blue,
But have the
I'm
helmet.
cool with that too.
Just Lucius Fox.
Give him the suit. There's a prototype suit. We want you to hunt them because he didn't want the money. He wants revenge, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. If you want revenge, let me give you this suit. We want the same thing. Have Orm be orchestrating the whole thing. Give him the suit. He still gets defeated, but then he meets the mid-credit scene. He meets Randall Park's character, and he's
fixing it.
like, "I have an idea for your suit." And
Yeah.
then
And then
they
we
learn.
see it.
Then you can learn about Atlantean tech because this guy's been studying
That
it
would
his
Right.
whole life.
He's the
guy who's like, we're
That's what
seeing
I mean.
Atlantean debris, that kind of thing. I don't think I need to see more of him, but I think his purpose needed to be bigger.
Right.
Well, it's
Yeah.
actually just changing the dialogue.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just
That's
changing
all
the
it is.
dialogue.
But yeah, sorry.
Those are all my qualms. Music, bad hair, and that's it.
Kaylin, Josh?
I actually do have qualms.
Okay.
I am all for cheese. You guys know that I love the cheese factor.
Spray can,
There was just some parts, spray can, Cheese Whiz. I love Cheese Whiz.
like Velveeta.
There was just, it was like cool. They reached a cheese level, and then there were some times that I was like, okay, you just gave me a slow motion head, like hair flip. I don't
need
as
another
Mel
one.
Brooks said, 3 times the rule. We're good. We don't need one more. There was a part of me that I was like, I just can't. For me, that's something that takes me out, and that's just a personal qualm, and maybe it's my own baggage.
Which was the point that was like, okay, too much.
I mean, it just happened all the time.
Okay.
I mean, there were like the
Was
end
after-
sequence when he gets his power, like he gets his trident and he has his suit and he comes out. The thing about it is like, it's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just there's a part of me that goes, okay, I laugh. I go, holy shit, that's awesome. But it is one of those things that I'm like,
The suit reveal scene?
well, when he comes out of the waterfall and it's just like slow motion
Corey,
and it's like,
to curve your excitement, I think it's the fact it's like it's too. There's a lot of it,
yeah, there's
and
just,
it's more like I like chocolate fudge brownies, but if I have 400 servings of it, like even just one, I'd be like, come on.
That's fair.
It's like
it's not that it wasn't badass. Right?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts, but it's just,
it's when he drops in the
okay.
submarine, and then it's when Manta drops. It's when
Yeah.
the trident crosses over. It's like you've had it so many times that now every other time, like you still like it for what it is, but you're like, if you took
I
away all the
understand,
other
yeah.
ones away and left it this one, you'd be okay.
yeah.
Just trying to put it in perspective.
Yeah, no, that's
I
thank
appreciate
you. I wasn't using my big words, and he gave me
I was
big
like, oh,
words.
wait, I don't get it.
I had a problem with Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Heard. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be mean. I just felt
Do
like
it.
it was really bad acting. There was some delivery of lines that I was like, I don't believe you. And
Yeah.
it was just there were almost some lines that just sounded like they were literally read. And I was
Yeah.
like, and the wig thing, like I had a hard time.
That's how I feel about Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
I get that way sometimes with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
With Nicole Kidman specifically, I'm kind of like, but again, it's like if you have somebody who's
More
a-
screen time.
who's somebody who's like a dick or something like that, and they're like, oh, that's just the way they are. It's like, oh, it's Nicole Kidman. That's kind of the way that you see her movies, and you're like, that's Nicole Kidman.
There she is.
She's not
Yeah.
an amazing actress, but she's pretty good.
No,
She's
I don't
okay.
think so.
Okay.
I still like them on
Wow.
the show.
Except for
someday, but
Moulin
yeah.
Rouge. She's done nothing for me.
Okay.
Wow.
You haven't seen Peacemaker with George Clooney where they have to stop bombs?
That was before, wasn't it?
That was after Batman Forever.
Or before
Um,
Moulin Rouge.
yeah.
No, actually, I'll give you that because my brain just started going through, and I'm like,
I've never walked
Yeah.
away and gone, wow, Nicole Kidman.
You didn't,
Wow.
you didn't like her nose twinkle and Bewitched?
No.
Oh yeah, she did that, huh?
I'm trying to do it right now. It's not working.
One last thing, and it unfortunately it took me out of the movie for longer than it should have, and it was the beginning de-aging CGI.
Yes.
Oh,
It was
my
awful.
God.
It
It
was-
was so bad.
There was a moment where I actually stopped and made a mental note, and I was like, nah, no, that didn't that didn't happen. It almost looked like the body moved and the face didn't move with it.
Yeah.
And like the scene, like
Tom said, "Did he look like Barbie dad?" And I was like, "Yeah, he looked like Barbie dad, and she looked like Barbie mom."
and I was just really. Here's the thing.
Willem Dafoe's
Face
looked awful,
value.
too.
No.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. I get it.
Sorry, I'm trying. No. The faces.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're bad. They're really
I
like,
am.
oh wow, that's a pretty good CGI face. The problem
know.
for
It was the
me
matching.
is the seams.
Mhm.
It's the way that the seams
Attaching
flow.
it onto the body.
To me,
Yeah.
it was both. I don't think the face
It was
looked
both
good
for
at
me.
all.
I thought
I
the
didn't hate-
dad's face specifically
Looked
was
like Botox.
terrible.
I didn't hate.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even notice it with Nicole Kidman, so maybe it worked on me. But then I also realized I was like, I don't know what Nicole Kidman's supposed to look like now.
Willem Dafoe's looked terrible.
Like I don't know what
too.
she looks like now. So like maybe she just looks great all the time. But I didn't notice it with the dad a lot.
Yeah.
It just looked like waxy. The
Yeah.
lighting didn't hit
Is that
right.
what it was?
And like that is like
I just took it as
Marvel
like
has
Atlantean
pioneered
glow.
that. Like Marvel has
Well, I mean,
pioneered de-aging.
Yeah.
makeup.
Yes.
I was like, de-aging's
yeah.
been around for a while.
And what I'm trying to say is I guess they've taken it a step further. They've pioneered it in that sense. They use
Yeah.
it well.
Revolutionized.
Yeah, thank you. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
And
I appreciate what they were trying to do, and I think had we not gotten things like what they did in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or Ant-Man, I don't think we would care as much.
Right.
But just knowing that exists out there,
Mhm.
and that what those steps weren't taken, I don't know.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh, Tom's number is biased because of this. Look, dog, if it's not a fucking CGI mustache, I'm cool with it. 'Cause you know what, dude? Fucking sometimes technology, you don't have the budget for it.
It's removing a CGI mustache. is what
Well,
you're
it's
talking
better than a
my
fucking
I think my
CGI piece
my
of
thing
shit
is that I
from
don't
John
think they
Wick.
needed to de-age. I think the hair would
Yeah.
have been enough. Which also that wig didn't look good on him either.
I think it's the wrinkles.
No.
I think the dad was probably more wrinkled
yeah.
or whatever. So they probably
They
had
could've,
To
to
me,
like-
it's less distracting if you put him in a wig and then
Taped his face up and put a wig on that wasn't so
or
jarring.
makeup it up. But I think it's
Anything, prosthetics. Like it's
Mhm.
I don't know why
took
they
me
went
out.
the route that they
Just
did.
put them in masks,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I didn't have.
we
my-
all wear masks.
I
metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically speaking.
metaphorically speaking. I guess it was okay in a sense. It was kind of like okay.
It is what it is.
It was.
It's like I know what it is,
I know what they're trying to do. I know
but-
the limitation.
and I'm like I'm okay with it because you got to do it for the scene. So just do it.
move on.
and then, but it's almost disappointing in a sense because then you see the rest of the movie and you're like, I'm sorry, you can do that, but you
But
can't
you
do
couldn't
that.
do
There was
that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because that's where their
It
attention
wasn't
went
perfect
to.
CG. There were some parts where I was like, you're a
well,
little.
yeah.
There's a little like some of the sea creatures during some of the scenes were like a little Pixar-y to me.
Mm.
Where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like the shark, like
Fair.
sometimes the sharks like lining up and the seahorses, the big seahorse
Dragon.
like horse dragon dudes, like those were a little Pixar
Yeah,
or whatever.
and that's why I
but-
say like the things that could have looked really fucking dumb, they nailed. But
Right.
some of the things that they didn't, it felt like
we could have used another pass.
Well, what I think happens, and
Yeah.
like most people who know about like filmmaking and all that stuff know, like segments go to different post houses,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so
Right.
whoever is in charge of that aspect of like the minutia details of people's faces or wardrobe and
Is it
makeup and all that
different-
stuff.
they could have been running out of time. They could have been under
Well, it
budget,
could have been actually
whatever.
just a smaller place. Like ILM wasn't
Yeah.
big back in the day, and then
That's true.
fucking after like Marvel, it became huge.
Yeah.
Like now, like that gets the pass out of
These
everything.
movies
They
have,
get
like-
the biggest sequences.
These movies have like 3,000 or many thousands of CGI shots
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and,
So-
and,
so they've
and
gotta
3
go.
studios in San Francisco. So
Right.
it's like,
They've got,
Yeah.
and each shot is like an entire render, an entire task, or
Yeah.
one project. So it's like, yeah, these are going to go to different houses.
yeah. So,
No kidding.
any other qualms?
I mean,
Kaylin?
that was
I have
fun.
a few.
Mine was just like the romance mainly. The romance was
Yeah.
very, especially when you have such a juxtaposition with like the dad and Queen Atlanta. Like
A parallel?
that
Like a
was a
real
great
love?
romance, like a real love. And then you have this. It's like I just met you. Let's run places together. I saved your dad. I love you. Like
Yeah.
it happened way too fast, and the scene in Sicily was annoying. I really wish that I could have heard things a little better because it was kind of hard for me to follow what was going on initially in the movie.
Well, you could Yelp review that theater.
Yeah, I will. Don't you
should.
doubt me. But yeah, it was mainly the CGI and the romance. Those are my biggest issues with it. Oh yeah, acting as well.
Okay.
I didn't feel the depth that I wanted to feel for the characters.
Any of them?
Not even Tom?
I don't know. Tom was fine.
I don't think it was just the acting.
CG. It wasn't just the acting. It was a lot of different
some of the
things.
dialogue was a little like
very
by the numbers dialogue.
It didn't match up well enough. Everything didn't match up well enough for me to be like, oh man, I'm really invested in everyone here.
All right.
And that's just my take on it. But
did you have something else, Tom?
I had one more before Corey goes.
Okay.
And it kind of goes a little bit what you guys are saying of how it feels very rudimentary. Feels like you're just checking the boxes.
Yeah.
This film, as I said, it's a simple story, and it does all the beats at the right places and X, Y, and Z. It's just whatever flavor you get.
By the books.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a moment for an explosion happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look, this is a nice explosion. I'm like, oh, look, they're finding the thing. Explosion. I'm like, and I literally got to the point where I was like, I guarantee an explosion is going to happen. It came to the point where
they found the hidden ocean.
Like, I guarantee, it got to the point where, like, when I watch a Disney animated where it's a musical, I'm like, I guarantee a song's going to happen.
Can we talk
right
about
here.
Can we talk about their kiss with the fireworks around them?
Okay, hold on. Time out.
I think that's what a chorus.
Time out. I liked that sequence, okay? You know why?
What?
Hey.
Please explain. Please.
Because, I mean,
he's a lover at heart.
Obviously, it's cheesy as fuck, right? But I'm like,
yes.
It's a revolving shot. Got
she wraps her leg around
it.
it.
Felt like a comic book moment.
It felt like a comic book moment, but also like...
I mean that in a good way.
Also, it is kind of like, you know, if whatever the chemistry had been sold better, like...
That's part of it.
Well, regardless, like, just that factual moment. Right? A kiss between two characters that have had to go around the world to fucking do this thing, and a war is happening between all the worlds. Right? This moment is quote unquote the last time they're gonna fucking see each other. Everyone fucking loved in Dark Knight Rises, and no one says any shit about it. But in this time, here it happens, and it's like you actually get a good visual that can actually match it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I appreciate about it, because like a kiss is just a fucking kiss, and it always happens at stupid moments. Always happens at stupid moments.
Yeah.
But like this actually allowed itself to be like, let's play with it and let's actually have this shot that works with it, other than just like, here's a kiss and that's it.
I just thought it felt a little like.
Well, I agree. It wasn't earned.
Right.
The visualization of it was what I would expect from a superhero film.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't feel much, but it was a well choreographed, like you said, camera movement.
Yeah.
The shot was beautiful. It was a great kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I
just think the explosions shouldn't have felt so much like fireworks. Like they were kissing and fireworks were going off behind them because of this huge love that they just realized or whatever it was. That was the only problem that I had an issue with. There were just too many explosions, like red and blue and like.
Well, to me, I don't get it of like this love explosion thing. I got it more
colors.
of like nothing matters.
Like there's a war going on in the background, but
Well, a war could have still been going on, but
yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's what I get instead of like a love release or a sexual release film wise. It's more like, oh, like the world is ending, but then so they're trying to just cherish this one moment.
I get that. I appreciated that. I just visually, I would
have smaller explosions in a war.
Sure.
Something, I don't know.
But yeah, I agree. It wasn't earned, but I liked visually. I think it
looked
was
cool.
well done.
Looked good.
Yeah.
Corpow.
Corpow's turn. So
next.
Wow.
My biggest issue with it was I've mentioned some other things like Black Manta or the Sicily moment with that song really it's being taken out of the film a few times. I agree with some of the dialogue being really forced.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a scene after they fight Black Manta where she steals a boat and they're on the boat and we've heard 3 or 4 times your mom was sacrificed to the trench. Oh yeah, if I do that, if I go home, they'll they'll sacrifice me to the trench. And then they're like, where are we heading? We're going to the trench. Oh, the place where my mom was sacrificed, the trench? And she's like, yes, the trench, the place where your mom was sacrificed. And I was
So
like,
we're going to the trench?
We get it. Like it would have been a better moment if they were like about to go in and they stopped and he was like, but they stopped by the twister, the big portal there.
Yeah.
And she's like, you ready for this? And he could be like a little nervous or whatever. And they can have a moment there about like, this is why this is important.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last place my mom was alive.
Yeah.
We may not make it out. Like that could have been a better moment than on this boat at the CGI sunset with the trench where my mom died. Yes, that trench.
I'm not going to argue against it, but only reason I think that exists that way is, and I like, it's kind of like, again, it's the rudimentary thing, is the over elaboration of the story, where there's certain beats where they have to reiterate what just happened.
And I agree. I just think it would have been done 5 minutes later.
Well, I think the only reason that happened is because, I hate to say this, but like a lot of the uninitiated audiences or something like that, like a lot of them don't have fucking attention spans. And like, I hate that, because when movies try to be smart and they don't remind you anything, you had to have fucking paid attention. People are like, oh, it's too complicated.
I'll admit, for like a half second, I was like, why aren't they on the boat? Oh yeah, they charted a course. Okay.
Yeah. Or it could have happened there, right before Black Manta showed out. Like, they got the course and he's super excited and she's not. And she's like, why aren't you excited? That's the trench. And then Black Manta shows up. And then they can still have that moment by the portal of like, you ready for this? Like, okay. So my mom died. I might die here too. Thanks for being here.
I've been getting my ass whooped everywhere.
Yeah. So like, I think I would have liked that moment specifically, like, took me out, where I was like, we don't need this conversation right here. This felt like the wrong spot for that.
Right now, we're gonna do this. Right now.
I agree with Tom. Like, I'm gonna take back. Like, I think they needed it. I just think it could have been either earlier or later.
I'm gonna argue that they don't need it, but also most audiences need to fucking pay attention.
Right. And to that,
Reminder.
no, but to that extent, like, either earlier or later, it's just that moment could have been saved for, we almost fucking died. Let's connect. Let's have a moment between the characters just being themselves for 10 fucking minutes in the middle of this madness.
It would have been like an extended sequence of their time in Italy. I would have liked more play between them.
Yeah, more play. So like my example, not to pull from a Marvel movie, but like, I really like this moment in Guardians of the Galaxy where they've been going through shit's exploding, whatever, but him and Gamora have this moment on a balcony where like they're making deals in the back. There's nothing they can do right now, and they just know each other. Or like the moment of fucking Wonder Woman on the boat, where they're just like learning who each other are.
That's
like,
better. That's better.
So like these moments, get over yourself, Tom.
Get
Get over your fucking self. That's a good moment in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. You can hate 2 all you want, but 1 was a great movie. So, but like I would have liked that moment to be saved for that, and like that whole whatever, it was only 5 minutes, but that whole scene really bugged me. For as much as I like this, like, it's just a simple story. I feel like there was a few scenes in the beginning that they rushed through to get to the meat.
Yeah.
So like I think the first scene and they retconned a lot, and I from Justice League, and I like the changes they made. I love them. Like Tom and I, even before this, rewatched the scene from Justice League with Mara where they've met before, because I forgot that they met before, because he acts like he hasn't met her before in this, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But like if they wanted to play that like I don't know, it was just confusing for me, even someone who understands it. Like, why are they acting this way if they've talked before?
Yeah.
Like Tom's like, the whole thing could have been changed if when she shows up, he could have been like, fucking not you again. Like that would have changed the whole scene. But instead he's like, who are you again? Like, and I was like, no, man.
But do we live in a world where they want to pretend that Justice League didn't happen?
Yeah, and I like the
also
retcons.
retcons tend to happen.
Well, they do. The Justice League happened, but like the changes they made from it, because she even brings up Steppenwolf in that scene, and I'm cool with it. Like, I like
That's
that.
how they set the time period.
But I would have just liked their interaction to be a little more familiar, or a little more like, I'm annoyed with you because you've already talked to me.
Yeah.
So those kind of scenes I think could have been fleshed out a little more.
An example like that was in the beginning, and in my head I kept saying, like, kind of what you just said, which is like, really now?
We're going to do this now?
Which was between the son and the father pirate, Manta, and his dad.
Yeah.
When they were booking it down the submarine,
and he's like,
they were like going somewhere very specific.
This knife?
And then he just stops right in the middle, turns around, here's a knife, blah blah blah.
Would have been
and
cool.
I'm like,
what if they showed
now?
them about
Really?
to board?
Well,
about to board
yes,
the submarine. And he was
that
like,
would have been
before-
fine. It's
Well-
like, we're gonna go on this mission. Like,
It's
It was
because-
very like,
It's because he says, we had a great victory today. And his dad says, like, no, I'm going to put you in your place. This is your victory. And you're ready to take my mantle.
Oh yeah, okay, I dig that. That's a good point.
yeah,
That's
but
the-
it
that's the
didn't
reason
feel
why.
like they were done doing what they were doing.
They
Like,
took
it felt
everyone.
like-
Everyone was already imprisoned.
Yeah, but they were like, where were they going? They were going somewhere with purpose, it looked like.
They were going to captain the ship.
I
They're
guess.
probably going
To
to
go-
go to the board.
Well,
I
then they
agree
should
with you,
have,
Ali.
they should have gotten to
yeah.
the pilot's seat, sat down, and then had that. I don't
Rather
know.
than like
It just
Just
felt
in the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like, in all honesty, film language, it just worked opposite on you. Because when people
Yeah.
walk, you're supposed to feel that the plot's moving,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Right.
yeah.
So,
So I think a happy medium between the two of you would have been getting to a specific room, having them put their shit down, and being like, okay, I dig that.
Yeah.
The Black Manta scene really bugged me, but I love the character and I want to see
Yeah.
more of it.
I wanna see more
I
of him,
just
too.
feel like they maybe either could have spent a little more time on him,
Yeah.
or or be a little less.
Well, I feel like they had their like little milestone like moments that they wanted to get to with the character.
Yeah,
and they had those moments, but the build up to those moments were a little awkward and
I can understand
misguided.
that. I can understand that. I think more time with him would have been good, and maybe
Yeah.
less time on those beginning scenes
Yeah,
that I was speaking of. More
I was
time
like,
for
are
Manta.
you now marooned on this island? What's going on?
Yeah,
I would have
'cause
liked
the
to
different
have,
settings he gets to is interesting. I loved the bubble hologram.
That was cool.
I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah.
I
That
thought that
was
was a
neat.
great
Like shoves
idea
past it.
to show things. Yeah. The last thing I'll talk about on here is just that I feel like at some points this movie tonally was great, and I think the director went in understanding the tone of this film, but I feel like there was a few parts. I don't think it had to be 2.5 hours. I think it could have been 2 hours. I think it was trying to do a little too much here and there. With like I like the scene in the airplane, but I think it could have been done on the ground already.
Where they were just there.
Yeah. Like I don't think we needed to see them in a plane, falling asleep in a plane or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just little things.
They could have like just
Nitpicking.
been in the Sahara.
Well,
and
I was
they
a
have
little
to make like a little
confused.
cave for themselves and have that moment overnight.
Exactly.
I was
exactly.
like, she's just diving it down there because she knows she's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
does she think it's water?
Because of the Atlantis, like
They
being
know.
able to.
Because Volko said,
I know. No, I know. I'm putting that out there because it's like it wasn't super clear or whatever.
You know, like I like that. I know they wanted to show that. Like I
Yeah.
know they wanted to show they're superheroes. They
Yeah.
didn't stick the landing, but at the same time, I just felt it was a little too. Are we Indiana Jones? Are we?
well, to
you
me,
know,
it gets close to Transformers,
yeah,
where there's a lot of a little different, too many settings.
yeah,
But like,
Mm.
and my big thing is like, I love suspension of disbelief. I love the fact that in 24, Jack Bauer just teleports to different fucking countries within an hour. But also like, I don't need to see them interim.
yeah.
I don't need to see the car driving up to the parking lot. I just
Unless
need-
it has a point to the.
yeah,
story.
like, unless you're going to do something in it, or you could just have it in the one location.
So like in Indiana Jones, they're in the plane because guess what? He wakes up and the pilots are gone.
Yeah.
That's important. But this they just jump out of a plane. So like I think I would have just liked a little more.
But then we
focus
also
isn't the word.
we also wouldn't get the radio.
Cut the fat a little bit.
Because then if we didn't have the radio, we wouldn't get Pitbull.
God forbid we didn't get Pitbull.
I think
Just
what they wanted
trim,
to do.
trim fat here and there.
I think they wanted to
Yeah.
build characters though.
I
and
feel
that's-
like
and I get why those scenes exist, but it just didn't. They
I
didn't
feel like
no,
there
I'm
might
saying
also
the
be an
scenes are
extended
fu-
sequence with that too.
the scenes are fine, but like how they were done.
Yeah.
Like there was we're on a plane, we're on
Like,
this,
you
we're on
could
that.
achieve the same thing.
A little more,
just,
a
Without
little more
all
just,
the-
focused.
just at the place.
Locations.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, a little more focused on what.
Okay,
what they're
here's
doing.
this
Yeah.
for you, Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like when Quill is on. Well, it's like when Quill's on the planet and all the Guardians are actually there getting all the different things. You're starting to learn them not in a ship towards the place, but like actually
Yeah.
on the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy over here. But that's it. Those are my qualms. Is
Mr.
the
Music
little
Video.
things with like CGI. I would have liked to know that Black Manta was a design engineer or just get the suit.
Yeah.
That was my biggest one.
Yeah.
Josh,
I actually surprisingly have more qualms.
Okay.
I know that we've used this term when it comes to Marvel specifically, but bathos. And I could be completely misunderstanding it. But there were some moments that I would just felt like they were serious and then they were taken to a different level. One specific one that we have talked about is when they find the key, they put it in, she needs water,
There's a pee on
and
it.
then he goes, "Oh, you could have peed on it." That scene, I actually just went, "Really?" Like that. It didn't work on me.
Yeah.
The joke
Oh,
didn't
I was
work
gonna
on
say
me.
it worked on me because
The-
that's what I would have said.
only
why do we have
reason,
to go
like-
through this?
Yeah, to me,
Yeah.
the only reason that I like it
Mhm.
is because he's trying to simplify it.
Yeah.
Just trying to
With a lot of
trivialize it.
A lot of comedy, I think, like sometimes they try to overcomplicate things,
Mhm.
like by acting dumb.
Yeah.
But he's not acting dumb; he's acting simple.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You fucking use magic instead of wanting to pee, which is
Yeah.
a natural thing for our body."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
That-
that was one thing that didn't work on me.
To me, so like I'm not arguing your comment at all, but to just to simplify or to
Distinguish.
distinguish, thank you, a joke from the bathos is that I see that as a joke where bathos is the moment Doctor Strange puts on his cape and it starts getting in his mouth and
Okay.
face.
Where he's
Uh,
crying.
It's
Where he
supposed
can't
to
take
be.
himself
It's
seriously.
supposed to be this epic moment because that moment she's also joking where she's like, "You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all," kind of thing. And so
Me personally, my view of the scene is it felt very grand. It felt like even me, I was like, oh wow, that was really cool, really magical, and all this kind of stuff. And just like the kind of the reveal of everything that was going on. So I guess that was my interpretation of it.
Yeah,
so.
I understand that. I think for mine, it's where the joke comes in. So like that moment had finished.
Okay.
Right? But the
So
Doctor Strange one,
mid-moment-
he's still mid.
Well,
I'm putting on the cape,
Like
smacking
an
him in the face,
example of
stop
how bathos would have worked in this film is that when Arthur Curry sees his mom and she says, Arthur? And he says, who are you?
Yeah.
That's would have been bathos.
Yeah.
It would have been like, shut the fuck up.
All right,
you know
cool.
that
Mom,
fucking moment.
I'm
Like,
glad that
so old.
I'm glad that I understand it.
well, I mean, to quantify your qualm, it's more like you just too many jokes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that another one that was when the guy he broke his helmet and he's basically watering out, he's dying,
Oh, yeah.
and he puts his head in the toilet, and I'm like, okay, that's a logical decision to make, but it's like a
For an
cheap
Atlantean.
joke.
Yeah.
Like I was just like,
He also doesn't know what a toilet is, so
What
no,
would've been-
I just did it.
What would have been worse
get it.
is if you heard like a flushing noise.
yeah,
You know what?
Yeah.
Actually,
Or if it was dirty.
It immediately
Or if it was
reminded
dirty.
me of.
Hmm.
It immediately reminded me of Home Alone.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
And I
a
was like,
lot.
Reminded me of the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Sin
I
City.
wouldn't
Anyways.
know yet.
Or
But
wait, what's the one where is that the Big Lebowski where he's like, I didn't find it down there yet.
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I better go look again.
But does that wrap up our qualms?
I think
Yeah.
so.
So it's time for my actual favorite.
Great.
Rating. Now, again, I'll have to just restate. Qualms and rates are great for me. I like the rating more.
Mhm.
Qualms are good because it allows us to say, like, even though we like it, there's still things that could be better.
Mhm.
And we should always try to be better. But rating, I love rating because it allows us to say not everything is perfect, but the things that do have faults can be perfect to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with that, Corey and Josh and Caitlin have to go first.
3.9.
3.9.
Yeah. Because it's I like to go on the scale that Tom does, where 4 is close to a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And for me, I was thinking about it, and I went back and listened to some episodes about how I rated specific movies, and it doesn't quite hit a 4 for me. It has just one too many things that that took me out. So, but I still had a lot of fun, and I'm really excited if this is what the DCEU is going to be like moving forward, and they can improve upon this. Then we are in for a DC renaissance, and I'm really excited for that. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I had a lot of fun.
Caitlin.
I gave it a 4.1. I was entertained, but there was a lot that kind of took me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. I liked the movie.
Jason
but Jason Momoa, honestly, Jason Momoa is what
Took it over.
Jason
for.
Momoa and the giant Kraken thing is what gave it as much as
Yeah.
it did.
Julie
because,
Andrews?
Yeah.
Julie Andrews,
is
yes,
honorable
the
mention.
true
character.
return of Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
That's
That's
Mary
what-
Poppins' true form.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my final
Obviously.
That's how she looks like underneath her clothes.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, but
Yeah.
probably true. But yeah, it was little personal things that made me want to put my score up. But yeah, 4.1.
Cool.
Josh.
Joshua.
3.5.
3.5.
It was lower. Like the number that I wrote down was lower.
That
But
happens.
this conversation
Through the
kind
power
of
of conversation.
through the power
You
of
pulled an all
talking,
Yeah.
it went up. So
Wow.
Fair enough. Who's next?
Ollie.
Ollie's next.
Age
mine-
and beauty before Tom.
Yep.
Yes. Mine is also
Before Asian beauty. Asian beauty before Asian beauty. That's my new.
Mine is 3.9 as well.
Okay.
I
For
fucked
same
up.
same exact thing where it doesn't cross into the 4.0 like category for me because those are very special films that blow me away, make me cry, make me laugh, make me all this stuff, and it doesn't approach that, but it's a very strong 3.9 because I think this is a very, very strong step forward for the DCEU, and I really I'm for the first time looking forward to more movies from them. I want to see them get on track. Marvel's going into phase 4, whatever that is. We still don't know anything about what they have in
Whatever
store.
that is.
We don't know
Yeah.
have a lot of
Well, we do.
information.
It's Captain Marvel. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's another Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Is that would you
because
call that
they've all
phase 4?
slated everything.
Yeah.
Is that what you call phase? Okay, then I guess phase 5 is what I meant. They're going into phase 5, which we don't really have a good clear picture of. This is their opportunity to sort of continue to build their groundwork and to hopefully pay off with a better,
Just stay true to their
Justice
own
League
tone.
2 movie, maybe. I don't know.
I kind of think the DCEU is finding themselves.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
I'm not
happy.
shitting on them. Like it's one of those things like yeah, this is awesome. Like finding yourself and
Well, I
what
want
you're
to
gonna
see
do.
these characters like handled well.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing, like with that, like I know you're, I guess you could say you're cautioned to say those kind of things, Josh.
Mhm.
Like my thing is more like I could just go entire world without people saying like they should be more like Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. No.
And finding themselves and doing
That's what they did with
do.
Justice League.
They don't have
That's
to
what
worry
Whedon
about
did with Justice.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about the shadow of the MCU right now.
Well, to me, it's like they should never have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't ever fight
Well,
competition.
that's
Like-
what we've been saying for the whole time. But especially now, this is your opportunity to not have to worry about that and just seize the moment and to really define their sort
I
of.
hope they
Take
pay
those
attention.
little
pay
steps in the
attention
right
to-
direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pay attention to this in Wonder Woman and run with it.
Please.
For me, I don't look at this as like a huge stepping stone. I look at it to more like how does it stand as a superhero standalone?
Mm-hmm.
And Corey and I will talk about, or we talked about this a little bit on the interwebs. But I go 4, straight 4, mainly because it did a lot of things that normal superhero movies I don't like in. Like I don't like they kill off characters like that. Like I get stakes, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of lack of stakes in a lot of them, so they end up killing their villain.
Yeah.
And they, you can have the argument these are superhero films, not supervillain films.
Yeah.
It's like, but your villain should be a foil or at least a counterweight to your hero. If your
Yeah.
hero has insurmountable odds and they always beat them, then they're not really insurmountable odds.
Yeah.
Those are just
Right.
characters. Like
Yeah.
these, I love the fact that they're bringing these in. And I mean, like, Patrick Wilson's no Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston's no Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that, like, cool, this is going to go on. Regardless if they ever made another fucking DC movie,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm okay with the direction they took where everything's going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they didn't pull back on like drama or fighting and X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. Like they kind of just lived in it. And I visually impressive, and
Yeah.
that to me means a lot for like a comic book film. That it doesn't have to be like a Dark Knight where it's like drama, but also that
Yeah.
has like Wally Feister and he's a fucking phenomenal director of photography. So, anyways,
I hope we get to see more Mira do some more badass
Jason
stuff.
more
Momoa.
Mara, more score,
Yeah.
more Atlantis.
So that means Josh is the grump.
Wow.
Josh is the grump. I fucked up. I picked wrong.
Oh,
you failed me.
Sorry.
Congratulations, Josh.
The movie
Sorry, I
did.
had so
Wow.
much fun.
Well done.
Can we gush for a minute?
You want to gush for a second?
Just for a sec.
Yeah.
Because
I have one.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, I don't want to take your.
No, go ahead.
Was when Oris stands up at the end, like with the ship that was like upside down. Their like final like fighting arena. That was just a really cool shot.
Who'd you say? Oris?
What
Orm.
was his name?
Orm.
Arthur? Or Orm? Patrick Wilson?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Orm.
Orm.
Orem. What did I say?
Oris?
Oh, okay.
Orm.
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 Is when just him standing up, like in the rain or whatever, and like the blades spinning in the background. That was just a really
Yeah.
cool
Cool
shot.
visual.
I loved.
That was great.
Yeah.
That fight was phenomenal. I do like that the guards take him away and he disappears into the waves, so we don't know if he's in prison.
He just fucking
Because
Show me
he's
the
just-
body.
Off.
He,
He-
just
he
fought
Navy sealed it.
Aquaman. He just fought Aquaman.
Yeah.
I think he can handle the 2 guards that
Two guards that are escorting.
Yeah.
escorting, or 4 guards even.
The
escorting
4.
him
I
into
was
the
like, he
ocean.
can handle those.
Easy. So anyway, but because here's the thing, Mira's badass as shit. Like in the comics, in the lore, her power is really cool. I like what they did with her eyes every time she used it too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel for Amber Heard being put in that wig. Like that takes a lot of your credibility away as far as
Yeah.
acting goes. Because like I know she was in your face. She didn't bother me. Like I thought
bother
going
her.
in from the trailers, like that it was gonna be
with this.
really bad acting, and especially in comparison to Jason Momoa. But that's a lot to compete with on screen. If
Yeah.
you were opposite Jason, probably
The Rock should have been Mara.
I was gonna say,
With the
I would
wig.
I
have
was gonna
loved
say,
that movie.
I'm gonna say
Oh
he's
my God.
probably for me as if not more charismatic than The Rock for me. Like he hits a better place for me than The Rock does.
The tough thing is that The Rock, Wrestle fucking Mania and all that shit. He came in hot.
Yeah.
And then later on through the years, I feel like people have just kind of been like watering him down.
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah.
they pulling back the Rockness.
So the thing for me is like The Rock never struck a chord for me. Like I like him fine, but I wasn't like, oh fuck yeah, The Rock. But right now, if I see
Rock never
Jason
says,
Momoa
"My
in a
man."
movie, I'm gonna be like, fuck yeah, Jason Momoa's in this movie. I'm gonna see it. So for
agree with
me,
that.
that's a lot of charisma to act.
But I still,
against.
if I see The Rock, I still want to see that movie. But I also agree.
Yeah,
with you.
same.
I'd say a majority of Rock movies I don't see.
I mean, Jumanji.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You're right. Actually, I don't think I've seen this.
Central Intelligence.
But like, so I want to see more Mara.
Josh brought this up before we started recording. He's like, do you think Jason Momoa is at the point of being The Rock? And I was like, give him like 3 more years, and I don't see him not like being on the same level, if not maybe surpassing it.
If y'all know
Because
what
the-
we're talking about, follow his Instagram.
Because the thing is, Jason Momoa is a fucking like lovable dude. He loves everything. Just same thing as The Rock. They're like fucking great human beings. They're just fucking great, hardworking human beings. But the thing is that Jason Momoa kind of has this new kid on the block
Yeah.
going on in terms of star power. And the fact is like they're leaning into the fact that he's Jason Momoa. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
what is he drinking at the bar?
Guinness.
Jason Momoa's favorite beer, Guinness. So it's like, come on. Like this movie
Yeah.
was made for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A gush part for me in the first Ring of Fire fight breaks Atlanta's Quindent.
Yeah.
Quindent 5.
Yeah.
It was stupid because I remember hearing that. What the fuck is a Quindent?
Eh.
And it breaks that thing, and then like it's the
It's mirrored
symbology.
in. Oh.
Well, yes, 100%. It's the symbology of like everything that he fights for, his rage, that he holds because of what happened to his mother. It's broken, like now he has quote unquote no identity. Right?
Yeah.
Because you see he fights in a very unique fighting style when he's fighting with it. And then the same thing happens with Orm when he gets the fucking, gold god roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking exotic item of the trident. And
The gauntlet staff.
Atlantis Trident.
and then he breaks Daddy's fucking trident.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like his visage of how he feels like the world works is broken at that same moment.
Yeah.
And it's a story of two brothers.
Well, because he
fucking
also
two
leads,
brothers.
he leads so much with fighting.
Yeah.
And he even said, I think in the
This trident is
Yeah.
my father's, and it never has known defeat.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
fucking, that's some shit.
It's
That's
his idea of what power is.
that's a voice line that
Yeah.
needs to be recorded in every video game.
yeah.
This weapon was my father's, and it never knew defeat. I'm like, that's
It's never known defeat. Yeah.
gangster.
I also want to give we'll wrap it up here in a minute, but I want to give a shout out to James Wan for the way he shoots dialogue. I think it was really well done, really interesting. There's a lot of good camera work in that.
Yeah.
Like the scene where he's like, I already got one of those, and it like pans over to reveal the trident. And he's like, not like this one, you don't. Like, I just think it's hard to do. A lot of superhero movies don't shoot dialogue interesting. They shoot it like, here's a 1, here's a 1, here's a 2, here's a 1. But the way he uses his camera in his films is phenomenal.
Because he's a horror filmmaker.
Yeah.
He has to tell a lot of stories. Speaking of, in Conjuring 2, like I knew the fucking demon's name, spoilers,
Yeah.
because it was in the background in the bookshelf. Speaking
Spelled
of
out.
books, in the beginning of this
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
film,
Tom and I were talking
underneath
about
the
this.
fucking snow globe at Tom's house, underneath it,
The
H.P.
Eldritch-
Lovecraft.
The Eldritch horrors.
Eldritch Horror.
Yeah.
Oh.
I noticed that and I was like, did I just see that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I did
yes,
just see
you
that.
did.
And that's the thing I love.
And
because-
then the Kraken's introduced at the third
Yeah.
act. and you're
because
like,
why,
oh.
Corey?
Why?
Because
Mise en scène?
mise en scène, or as people like to say, mise en scene. I'm like, okay, calm down.
Mise en scène.
It's fucking French. Anyways, so mise en scène, it's like, it's great. Utilize it to tell more of the story.
Shout out to the mise en scène.
So good. So good.
I'm not wearing mise en scène.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not.
Um,
But yeah,
One quick gush is I really loved the return of Atlanta at the end for the love scene. The the dock scene.
The dock.
When they come together, I was like, yes.
after she was trapped in the quantum realm and couldn't return.
Yeah.
It's not over for
Finally
me. I
released.
waited on that dock every day
Yeah.
for 2 years.
That did, that did bug me. That it was just like it's Ant-Man and the Wasp all over again. She's just been surviving here alone for 20 years.
But the thing is, you know what?
Dinosaurs.
all on her own.
And I was like, you know what? They both can get out by plot. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, no, she chose to be. Oh no, never mind.
No, she couldn't.
She couldn't.
But yeah, I feel complete.
I feel complete.
Yeah.
I'm
Complete.
completing in the water,
You're completing.
There's a bunch
He's
of-
having a wet dream.
and there's a bunch of semen.
Get out of the pool. Out of
Oh,
the
it's
pool.
accurate though.
yeah.
Everybody at home, thank you for listening to this shenanigans.
Our final episode of 2018.
Ever.
No.
Wow. Final episode
No.
of 2018. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a
Yeah.
year.
That's crazy.
Can you
Another
deal with
52
that?
more on your way.
See you guys next year.
By the time
Anyway,
you're listening
no.
to this, hopefully you guys enjoyed our little Christmas present to you.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
It was
we
a
did
pleasure for us to
a
record.
little
that.
bonus earlier in the week.
Bonus
Boner,
episode.
Looking forward to the new year.
Yes, very much looking forward to the new year. If you are new to Nerd On, you can check out our website, nerdon.tv. You can listen
You can
us.
lick it.
Lick.
You can licken to us.
Yeah.
Like I would lick Jason Momoa's pecs. Yes.
Wow.
No regrets.
You, you can listen to us for free on Apple Podcasts and everywhere podcasts are heard. But
And
yeah.
one final thing, if you are interested in, we have a lot of cool stuff planned for 2019. If you want to get in on some of that juicy details, you can sign up for our newsletter over on nerdon.tv and
Stay up to date on all the things that you love that we
today
make.
we're gonna have a monthly newsletter going out pretty soon in the
Yeah.
new year. So get in on that, and that way you can stay up to date with things you might have missed, things you are looking for, might want to look forward to.
Pictures
all
of
that
Jason
good stuff.
Momoa's abs.
And in the
Yeah.
words
I will
of-
do it.
She is putting it together, so you'll probably get that.
In the words of Vulcan,
Yeah.
you may have a lot of newsletters, but you never had one like this.
Yeah. And
It's
one
never no defeat.
One final thing, as we mentioned up at the top, our patrons do allow us to keep growing. If you would like to support Nerd On further, you can head on to patreon.com/NerdOnTV. Yeah, so many little bonus content over there. I mean, this week alone, there were like 5 different bonusy things.
Lots of
but
things.
really, at the end of the day, you guys listening is support. So we really thank you for taking the time to download, to listen, to rate, to reach out, all that good stuff. But thank you for such a great year. We really, really appreciate all of you out there. And on that, as always,
Nerd on!
Ending broadcast.